About the author. Born and raised in Delhi, Kishore Namit Kapoor completed his education when he took his bachelor's degree in philosophy from the University of Delhi. In his college days, he was recognized as a stage actor as he had bagged a number of prestigious awards for his outstanding performances. Soon after college, he did number of assignments for All India Radio and Doordarshan. As a young and budding actor, Kishore's sincere voice gave him opportunities to work with Amin Sayani in programs related to broadcasting. This was a vantage point from which Kishore could clearly see the hazy outline of a future that was beckoning him. He wasted no time and enrolled in the Indian Films and Television Institute in Pune for a course in acting. Having completed this course with flying colors, he took the road to the city of dreams and dream merchants, Mumbai. He acted in noted films like Swikar, Sun Sajna, Asani and Kranti. In spite of leading a busy and fulfilling life, young Kishore was not a contented man. He began to feel a vacuum within and it made him restless. Finally things began to take shape and this led him to establish an acting lab, the only one of its kind. He devised a comprehensive training course for the artists of the film industry. The year was 1973. A number of actors who went through this course have become artists of great acclaim in the film industry. The year 1996 saw him conducting a 6-week training program in New York, and before he knew it, he was training contestants for the Fa Femina Miss India contests. He has also had the privilege of being a member of the jury in a number of film awards functions. With his popularity, his clientele grew. He began training contestants for various shows that included the first Grasim India and Zee TV Talent Hunt. Today he is a much sought-after trainer. He regularly conducts workshops for actors, even outside the country. A branch of his acting and lab is functioning in Canada. Kishore Namit Kapoor is one of those rare teachers who look at process acting as a highly individualized form of training. The training developed by Kishore Namit Kapoor focuses on the holistic metamorphosis of those being trained, ensuring transformation on both a human and creative land. It was Geoffrey Kendall who enlightened me about an actor's greatness. I watched his plays as a schoolboy. By the time I met him, he was pretty old. 72 years. He was to do Dear Liar at Prithvi. I was not expecting him to do as well at that age. But I was wonderstruck. He simply mesmerized me. I kept asking myself what it was in him that made him great. He was old and the movements were not effortless. But I realized that his irrepressible urge to bring the script to the audience in its totality is what made him great. The performance over. I met him. He told me, "I am not an actor. I am a propagator. My job is to reach Shakespeare to places it is enough for me, that the audience listens to what Geoffrey Kendall says on the stage. I have succeeded in bringing what I wanted to the audience, carefully keeping my personality out of the way. Therein lies his greatness." I watched him perform 5 different roles, that same evening. But I didn't feel for even a moment that the man was working his craft. The man had so much confidence in his prowess that he just didn't need to exhibit it. The performance and the acting in which this attitude is internalized are great. I always fancied this. At the age of 12 or 13, I told myself that I want to be an actor, and that I should think of it professionally. My brother wanted to join the military, and was preparing accordingly. I decided to become an actor and equip myself for it. My brother received guidance. I didn't. One was told, do this or that to become an engineer or a soldier. But what should one do to become an actor? I did what my mind told me to. I read plays, studied various actors' performances, reassured myself that acting is not an impossible dream, but a profession, and when you look at it, as a profession, you can accommodate your ego. You must put your own individuality before yourself. Not your favorite actor or actress. Or else you will keep mimicking that actor or actress all your life, not knowing ever what makes him or her what he or she is. You have a numbers of actors vulgarly mimicking Amitabh or Dilip Kumar or Balraj Sanani. Or Charlie Chaplin, who, to me, is the all-time greatest actor. Everybody has a capacity to become something. That is why, when you perform a role, you don't pretend to be a particular character. You grasp the spirit of that character. It is an interesting idea that the spirit of some other person enters into you, and you become that person. Besides, It is a question of training. If I had received it since childhood, I would have become a far better actor than I am today. I would have incorporated into my acting the tradition of the performing arts. We should develop a system of training which assimilates such varied traditions. Should I know for sure that my 12-year-old son is resolving to become an actor, I will send him for training. I have done workshops at the National School of Drama and with the motley people. That has been satisfying and frustrating too. Guiding actors is a tricky job and involves a lot of responsibilities. You don't often find responsible actors or even actors who believe that there is something to be learned as far as acting is concerned. You can't teach acting and expect immediate results. It is a process which one hopes will spark interest in the future. Akazi would tell us of kabuki and katakali actors who have to undergo decades of rigorous discipline and labor before they are permitted to perform. Yet ask any actor of the modern world why he works the way he does, and you get either an eyes raised to heaven sort of answer indicating that it's some benevolent God who does the actual work, or a diatribe against direction. Why is it that so few of us can define what we do when we act? Any dancer, any musician, any potter, even a woodcutter would be able to define and describe their work. Why can't actors do it? My teacher, Mr. Akazi, used to say that actors are not only the laziest people on earth, they are also the most arrogant. No singer or dancer would dare perform without riyaz, but the actor believes he has a right to do so without caring for his instrument, let alone practicing on it. I am happy that Namit Kishore Kapoor has written down his discoveries, his thoughts, his beliefs. Akazi always said that the state of preparedness of the actor before a performance is identical to the state of preparedness of an athlete before a game. Acting, I have discovered, is the only game in which everyone can win. Nasiruddin Shah. A conversation with Critic Roshan. Critic Roshan speaks about his student days at Kishore Namit Kapoor's acting lab. Why did you join acting classes? When I decided that I wanted to act in movies. That is, become an actor, the first thing I did was join Namit Kapoor's classes. And I'm glad I did it, because that is what made me real understand the art of acting. I already had some understanding the art because I had worked with Dad, Rakesh Roshan, for 5 years. How did the classes help you? Namit Kapoor's classes actually make acting fun. One really starts enjoying the art and getting involved in it. Not just do it because one has to do it. He has a way by which he makes acting more like a game. And I think that's how you should see it. Acting, though, is obviously very serious business, not just fun and games. You have to be really motivated, you have to have that drive, and once you have that, then it's as easy as playing a game because he is a fabulous teacher. What are your thoughts on Namit Kapoor as a teacher? His own words: I don't teach acting, I train actors. This is a very simple statement, but it defines a lot. And that's what he kept on telling me, that he can't teach me acting, he can only train me. And training is the tough part, because while training you have to push yourself, you have to understand, receive from the teacher, and then train yourself to be better and better. His insights into the little details of acting were mind-boggling. To give an example, when I used to think of something and give an expression, he would stop me and say, "Cut, are you thinking about this?" And obviously surprised, I would to reply yes. And then he used to say, "Done that. Think of this because this is the right emotion." So at times he used to shock me by actually looking into my mind and telling what I was thinking. And I used to love that, because I love analysis, thoughts and expressions. This really proved to me beyond doubt that his insight into acting is amazing. What advice would you like to give to his present students? At first, the atmosphere in his classes very serious and unnerving, because each one has to act before everyone else, so they be uncomfortable. Some students take the easy way out. They start fooling around or make others laugh by playing the clown. What I would suggest to them is that do that. But when you come home, think about it. What do you want to do in life? Here is a man who knows what he is doing. He's teaching you the art of acting. And he is the best in the industry. It will do you good to take him seriously. What can you remember about the days when you were learning acting from Namit Kapoor? It was great fun learning from him. He is actually a very lovable man. He stands by you when you're nervous, scared. He shows you the right way to go about fighting your nervousness. He lets you just cleanse yourself, loosen yourself, relax. He sets the right atmosphere, the right lights, sound, mood, and he's got so many tools that have helped me so much. If I start talking about it, I would go on and on. The little things that he teaches you, that might help you technically or help you to construct your thoughts with the lines are amazing. Plus it's not just about acting, he's got many tools which I understood were so important because my voice actually changed once I started taking these classes. Then, of course the dance classes with KISHORE Sir were fabulous. And I think KISHORE Sir is the best in the business. Letter from Vivek Oberoi. To my friend, philosopher, and guide. Dear KISHORE Sir, it would be a Herculean task to summarize the long and meaningful journey with you. And thank you enough for it. But nevertheless, I decided to make the effort to at least partially express it. I want to take this opportunity to tell you how much KISHORE Namit Kapoor's acting lab has meant to me. When I came back from NYU, I was convinced that my return had also brought with it an end to any opportunity to acquire any further education in a professional and institutionalized environment, and to grow as an actor. I was very skeptical about the acting classes, because I had heard all kinds of crazy things about them. But all that changed one fateful morning, when I visited your acting lab. I must say that I was absolutely amazed to see an institution in India of such superior standards and technique. Needless to say that joining you thereafter was not a matter of choice but a necessity because of the craving for training that I felt within me. In absolute honesty, I must tell you that 4 months with you and your excellent team have given me more than my 2 years in NYU. Today, I am a better actor, a better student, and, most of all, a better human being. I must thank you for the magnanimity you've displayed towards me, and your kindness even on a personal level. Giving timely guidance and support, reaching out in my hour of need, all this is remembered and highly cherished by me. Sir, I cannot say what destiny has in store for me. But I do know now that every experience will feel like success for it will only enrich me as an individual and be a reminder of the enormous wealth of knowledge you so generously bestowed upon me. These are all words that I'm using in an effort to express myself. I am sure that you will understand the depth of emotion they carry. May life be so kind that I get opportunity after opportunity, and find reason after reason, to express my gratitude and appreciation for all you've done for me and been to me. All I desire are your blessings, to always grace me, my work and my family. Your humble student. You made me feel loved and a part of your big happy family. And sir, you will always be a part of mine. The long hours I spent at the lab made this a home away from home. Your staff and faculty were brilliant and deserve individual applause. All the teachers, brilliant masters in their own spheres, have imparted unparalleled knowledge to me. I have so much to thank them for. Your staff was ever so helpful and cooperative, making my education feel like a team effort. The actor in me will always be indebted to them all. Sir, I cannot say what destiny has in store for me, but I do know now that every experience will feel like success, for it will only enrich me as an individual and be a reminder of the enormous wealth of knowledge you so generously bestowed upon me. These are all words that I'm using in an effort to express myself. I am sure that you will understand the depth of emotion they carry. May life be so kind that I get opportunity after opportunity and find reason after reason to express my gratitude and appreciation for all you've done for me and been to me. All I desire are your blessings to always grace me, my work and my family. Your humble student, Vivek Oberoi. Preface. We are all actors by birth. Abhinay or acting has always attracted our attention. We do not give up a chance to know and understand this art. This human has prompted me to write this book. However, I would like to a few things before you actually start reading this book. First of all, I want you to know that acting is an inherent quality. Have you ever observed the way we behave in different situations? It doesn't take much effort on our part to change our behavior on the basis of what the occasion is or what a situation demands. We may be going through a tough phase in life. But this doesn't stop us from behaving normally when we go about our day-to-day life. How do we achieve this? What makes it possible for us to conceal the conflict taking place in our inner world so efficiently? It is our ability to act. It comes naturally to us. Another fact that one should bear in mind is that you cannot distance yourself from what you are portraying as an actor. No matter what character you are playing, there will be a glimpse of your personality in the portrayal. Take the example of all three versions of the film Devdas in Hindi. Although Kundan Lal Sahgal, Dilip Kumar and Shah Rukh Khan have portrayed the same character, the presentation of the character was different each time. What makes each Devdas unique? What makes each interpretation stand out is now anybody's guess. If acting is inherent in us and if a glimpse of our personality is seen in all our portrayals, then where does the question of taking or providing training arise? This is exactly how the well-known actor Sir John Gielgud felt when he began his career. However, soon he realized that he was being naive. I had never thought that acting can be taught, he writes. Today when I think about it, I realize how bad an actor I was as in the initial stages of my acting career. As began working with good directors and great actors, my skills as an actor also improved. It is true that John Gielgud was not a trained actor. Those were the days when such things as training to be an actor were unheard of. But he has himself admitted that by observing others and, through his own experiences, he improved greatly as an actor. An actor's life, in fact, is like a laboratory where he goes on experimenting with his skills. This effort encourages him to be a better actor. A true actor can feel no satisfaction until he is able to bring about that elegance in his performance. But how does one do this? Someone had asked this question to Stanislavski. His response was quite stunning. Please find your own style and method, do not imitate others. No style is complete in itself, he said. Something that has already been there would become outdated soon, then how is one going to gain anything by adopting it? Do something creative and original, he begs. Stanislavski's teachings are found in huge volumes that no one reads. However, there are a few institutions which have incorporated his method of teaching in their syllabi. There is a dearth of good books on acting in India. Writing such a book has been my dream for years. I could realize it when I wrote the book Swanyam Vaya and Swanyam Vadak. It was co-authored by Kamal Nayan Chaturvedi. Some of the articles from that book have been included in this book. The effort has been to provide the maximum information related to acting. This book, I hope, will fill the gap that exists in Indian publications on this subject. Kishore Namit Kapoor. Power of concentration. The first step to success: love your profession. Let me begin with a well-known mythological story. The Kauravas and Pandavas were taking lessons from Dronacharya. One day Dronacharya took his disciples to a forest and showed them a bird in a tree. Aim at its eye, he said to them. What can you see now? He asked each of the princes one by one. All of them gave more or less the same reply. They said that they could see the bird and the ground, the sky, the trees and plants. Guru Drona did not ask any of them to shoot the arrow. Then it was Arjun's turn. Concentrating on his target, he said, I can only see the eye of the bird. The Guru asked him to shoot. The arrow hit the target. Keep a piece of paper in the sun for hours. Nothing happens to the paper. Now take a magnifying glass and make the sun's rays fall on the paper. Through the glass. The paper will start burning. About 2,200 years ago, the Greek scientist Archimedes burned down the enemy ships by reflecting sun's rays through pieces of glass. If the concentration of the sun's rays can create such miracles, what can you not achieve by concentrating the energies of your body and mind? The power to concentrate is not an entirely God-given gift. Constant practice can help you develop this power. To achieve this, you need to have a genuine love for what you are doing. No effort on the part of Abraham Lincoln could achieve anything for him until the age of 40. All that he did was work, as his father had taught him. But when he began to love what he was doing, he became successful. Observe the way a painter or a pilot do their work. They are so engrossed that they wouldn't even notice your presence. Dilip Kumar was like a painter on the sets. Mastering the skill of concentration is the first step to learning the art of acting. It is the power of concentration that helps you to become one with your character. You no more are the person who is known to the world. You become the character you are portraying. It is a yogic state like meditation. Meditation is a state of concentrating your energies in the universal soul. When concentration can help you to be one with God, what is acting in comparison? You can master this art with ease. Acting, however, is a more complex job than the job of a pilot or a painter. The pilot has a compass to guide him while a painter uses a brush. An actor doesn't have any such support. All that he has is his role and his dialogue. This is why acting is said to be an art that can give rise to a new soul. Bharat Muni has described acting as par kaya pravesh, which literally means entering alien body. Despite leading a life of your own, as an actor you start dwelling inside your character. It is not possible without the power of concentration. Circles of perception. Acting is done before an audience. When you are in front of the camera, you have the technicians and the onlookers watching you, just as you have your viewers watching you perform on stage. Performing in front of people needs a very high degree of concentration. The actor needs to be convinced that he is not being watched even when he is in the midst of a crowd. To achieve this state, an actor has to initially start training from 3 circles of perception. 1. The innermost circle of perception. The actor's first circle of perception is he himself and the articles, like pieces of furniture around him. The actor first learns to concentrate on the objects, in the innermost circle. Initially, he pays attention to nothing outside this circle. 2. The middle circle of perception. In this circle, the actor is there and along with him are the other actors and some pieces of furniture. The actor takes some time to focus his attention totally on them. 3. The big outer circle of perception. This circle contains the entire stage or the set of the film. The actor has to focus on everything in this circle. This is a difficult task. It takes a lot of practice to master this technique. An actor should not allow his attention to wander, deviate, while on stage, as it can affect his memory, and make him forget his lines. An actor's ability to sustain his concentration helps him bring out his inner emotions. Since an actor thinks with his heart, it is important for him to be aware of the other actor's lines, the content as well as the style of delivery. Concentration is the base on which memory works. You can remember things better only when you possess a greater concentration span. Abraham Lincoln. Your ability to concentrate on something depends on how much you love it. The life of Abraham Lincoln has taught us that we can learn to love the work we do. When we love our work, we also start enjoying it, and later on, it is this enjoyment that makes it possible for us to develop our power of concentration. Do the following exercises. 1. Fill a glass with water to the brim. Hold it in your hand and walk. Make sure that not a single drop is spilt. Keep walking around in the room a number of times. Repeat the exercise with someone walking behind you trying to distract you, but see to it that you not spill even a drop from the glass. 2. Slowly count numbers up to 100 in the reverse order. Make sure not to make mistakes even when someone is trying to win your attention. 3. Light a candle in a room where there is no wind. Sit cross-legged before it at a distance of 1.5 foot. Keep staring at the flame until your eyes start watering. This is a yogic exercise. If you do it on a regular basis, you can improve your power of concentration considerably. 4. Join the thumbs and the index fingers of both your hands to make a circle. Through it, stare at something at a distance without blinking, for as long as you can. This exercise is known as Akash Mudra. It is a yogic exercise. In the film Majboor, watching, Pran will give an idea of a person who has been constantly practicing this exercise. Regular practice of the above exercises will improve your concentration, not only as an actor but also in everything that you do in life. As humans, we have this great flaw in us. We do not live the present. Either we are pining for the glory of the days gone by, or we are worried about a future that is yet to come. It is important for all actors to learn to live in the present. You must realize that the past is over and done with. The future is still distant. It is the present that counts in acting a role on stage or on reel or in real life. Perception. Interpretation of sensory experiences. We perceive the world around us through our sensory organs. Our sensory organs transmit information necessary for perception to the brain. The efficiency of our senses enhances our power to perceive things. What prompts you to break into tears while watching a tragic scene? We have the ability to experience the feelings of others. We can perceive their feelings through our senses. You don't have to consume poison to depict a scene where someone is taking poison. Similarly, there's no actual snowfall, nor does the telephone ring. Still, the actor is able to effectively generate the required responses by controlling his senses. It is possible to effectively express different responses without actually experiencing the actual stimuli. This means that you can imagine the effect a stimulus can create and react to it. As all of us, do not put our sensory responses to maximum use. Different people react differently to the same situation. By learning to generate strong sensory responses, you can develop in you yet another powerful sense known as the sixth sense. Most of the time, we are preoccupied. We do not make use of our senses of sight, smell, touch, taste and hearing to their full capacity. Our eyes may be wide open, still many things go unnoticed. We generally do not hear all the sounds that surround us. And we also suffer from a particular weakness: we hear only those things that we like to hear. As a result, it has become our nature not to listen to many things. Look at blind person carefully. Every little sound alerts him, be it a soft rustle, or the mildest click. He not only locates the direction of the sound but also identifies its source. Our ears are no different from his. Being alert to various sounds and noises, you can improve your concentration power, which is essential to enhance your acting capabilities. We also neglect our ability to smell. Generally, it is only one of the members in the family that can smell gas when the valve is left open. When the others notice and acknowledge it, they consider the matter very carefully. However, there are people who quickly smell and detect when something is burning. Have you ever felt suddenly hungry when hit by the aroma of some food? Then you are one of the lucky who can enjoy the pleasures that your taste buds can bring. The moment something touches us, the sensitive tissues of our skin send messages to the brain as a warning and we respond with a reaction. Skin is a weaker sensory organ by comparison. Some people do not feel any sensation when they are hurt or injured. They suddenly notice blood, or someone draws their attention to the injury. They start feeling the pain only after they become aware of it. Our perception about ourselves and the things around are due to the information that our sense organs send to our brain, but we do not pay much attention to them. Understanding stimuli that our sense organs send to our brain and responding to them appropriately is a skill. We have to consciously focus our attention on all our sensory stimuli to learn this skill. As we go on practicing it, our concentration power or the span of attention increases, which is one of the essential qualities of an actor. Follow the exercises given below. Eyes, close your eyes. 1. Visualize a golden star or a triangle shining between your two eyes. Focus your attention on it. 2. Ask someone to place in a tray a few things, at least 20 items, like a matchbox, a pair of scissors, clothespin, safety pins, buttons of different colors, etc. Before you have a good look at them for about 30 to 60 seconds. Keep the tray away so that you cannot see its content anymore. Now, write down on a piece of paper the names of the articles in the tray. Find out how many of them you can remember. Ears, close your eyes and try to listen to the following sounds. Someone using a swab to clean the floor. Voices of people known to you. Imaginary sounds, like a tune which characterizes a piece of music. Nose, imagine that you are in a garden full of flowers. Try to smell these. The scent of a rose. The scent of jasmine flower. The scent of the wet earth. Skin, imagine that you are on a road made of the following: ice, coal tar. Tongue, while eating your meal try to feel the taste of each item. Drink a glass of water and imagine that you have had a bitter medicine. A sweet drink. Salted buttermilk. Sour soup. Many actors do not mind carrying out casual conversations with people around them. However, as soon as they make their entry on the stage, they get into the character they are portraying. It is now proved that with practice, one can concentrate on any subject in a matter of a few seconds. The above exercises will be of immense help while performing as an actor. The art of observation. Everyone sees things. What is the big deal, you may ask? If you happen to share this sentiment, try and answer the following questions. 1. You are familiar with the traffic rules. The moment the light turns red, you bring your car to a halt. Which color is at the top, red, yellow, or green? Which is at the bottom? 2. What differentiates the number plate of a private car from the number plate of a taxi? 3. You have been using your wristwatch for a long time now. Without looking at the dial, say whether the numbers on the dial are Latin or Arabic. Or are there only dots or strokes in the place of the numbers? 4. You may have seen and used a 500 rupee note many times. Which profile of Mahatma Gandhi's face is on it, the right or the left? In how many languages is ours 500 written on it? 5. Look at this picture carefully. What do you see? You would see an old-fashioned white cup. Look at it a little more carefully. Do you see anything else? Here's a clue to help you. When you looked at the picture with black as the background, you saw a white cup. Now imagine the white portion as the background. What can you see now? Aga Harsh Kashmiri was a dramatist. His plays are popular even today. His mother had just died. Even when he was in deep sorrow, his artist's eyes were busy observing how a person would look in death. How his hands, legs, and his face change. The realization that it was his mother he was looking at appalled him. Shabana Azmi goes one step ahead. She says that whenever she is crying, or is alone and is going through a sensitive phase in life, she gets the feeling that she is looking at herself from a distance. All aspiring actors should try to develop the skill of observation to be successful actors. Now let us go back to the little questionnaire. If you were able to get all the answers, you should be happy to know that you have at least one quality that an actor needs to be successful. If your answers were incorrect, you need to develop the skill of careful observation. There is a difference between seeing and observing. We all look at things, but do we really see what we are looking at? Try this little exercise while traveling by bus or train. Find the passengers who are constantly looking at their wristwatches. Ask one of them the time. Even though you have seen him looking at his watch a moment ago, he will once again look at it before telling you the time. What was he doing when he was looking at his watch a while ago? You see, it was an action without purpose. This is what we generally do. Did you notice any mistake in the line that you have just read? You have made a similar mistake. The word "we" is printed twice in that sentence. Careful observation is the key to good memory and in-depth understanding of things. Both these faculties are important in life. Imagine that you are umpiring a cricket match. There is hardly any excitement and your attention wavers. Lo! There is an appeal for LBW. What would you do? You know you are in for trouble. Even when we observe things, we do it on the basis of a previously conceived belief or understanding. The power of observation is an essential quality of an actor. An actor has to observe everything around him closely: objects in nature, people he meets, and the characteristics they display. In conversation with someone, carefully observe his face. Understand what his eyes are trying to say or what his voice is trying to convey. Observe how the different parts of his body behave. Nurture the quality of keen observation until it becomes a habit that when you stand before the camera, it will help you bring out the exact shade of the personality that will make the character come alive. Has no one ever seen an apple falling from an apple tree before Newton did? Has no one ever noticed how the lid of a kettle flew off as the water began to boil before James Watt did? When Newton and James Watt did, people began to respect and remember them as the greatest scientists of the world. Exercises to enhance the power of observation. Let's now see how we can develop in us the skill of observation. The following exercises will help you accomplish this. 1. Take a piece of paper and write on it the names of 6 of your friends. Write against each name the following details. A. Color of his, her eyes. B. Skin tone. C. Hairstyle. D. The color of clothes she was in when you met him/her last. 2. Make it a point to pass by a store. Write down the names of the things you see in the showcase on a piece of paper. Do visit the store in the morning once again. Compare your list to find out the number of items that you forgot to mention in the list. Repeat this exercise at regular intervals. Soon you will find that you can recollect everything that you see in the showcase. 3. Before going to sleep, try and remember the cover of a book you have recently seen, or the ball you happened see a child playing with, or it could even be the face of a friend of yours. When you wake up the next day, see if you can remember what you were thinking of before you fell asleep the night before. 4. Make a list of the things in the room where you are sitting out looking around. Make sure that you don't miss out anything. Now compare. You will be surprised to know that despite your being there in the room and seeing the things in it all the time, there are many things that you have not remembered to mention. Now look around carefully. Then go out and make the list once again. This list will be longer. Go to the other rooms, or to your friends' and relatives' homes and repeat the same exercise. 5. Whenever you happen to have a glass of water or a cup of tea in someone's house, imagine that you are drinking from the same glass or cup from which Chanakya, Chandragupta, or some such great personality had their drink. This will generate in you a lot of interest for the utensil. Now look at it carefully and, later try to describe it on the basis of your memory of this utensil. 6. Imagine that you are investigating a murder case and look at the face of your co-passenger in a bus. Then close your eyes and try to describe his face in your mind. Then look at him, her again. Don't stare or you will end up fighting a new case now which is real. Then close your eyes and repeat the exercise. You will see that with every new attempt, your description becomes better and better. 5 WH words. Always remember the 5 WH words: what, when, where, why and who. These words will help you store what you have seen and experienced in your memory. When you see an incident, these words will prompt you to ask questions such as: A. What have you seen? B. When did it happen? C. Where did it happen? D. Why did it happen? E. Who was responsible for it? You will see that slowly your ability to see things and remember them will increase. It will also improve your imagination. Your memories and experiences so stored in your mind will turn to a treasure house, and while performing a particular character, you can draw from this treasury the necessary experiences and enrich the performance. Balraj Sahni has beautifully explained the plight of a person who lacks such experiences in his autobiography. When he faced the camera the first time, Balraj could not act. So he began to imitate Dilip Kumar directly. But after he had a glimpse at life and with inspiration from others, we all know how he went on to become one of the greatest actors of all time. If an actor of the caliber of Balraj Sahni could feel unnerved before the camera, what would be the plight of ordinary mortals like us? In fact, all the characters played by the great actors have been directly lifted from real life. Dilip Kumar had to perform the role of a football match referee in the film Leader. For an entire week. He would visit the places where a football match was on and watch the referee very carefully. Today we all know how successful he has been doing that role. Similarly, when Balraj Sahni was doing the role of a Pathan in the film Kabul Wa Allah, he had spent a lot of time amongst the Pathans learning the way they express themselves, in gestures and words. Finally, when the film came out, it left behind a milestone. In Spersh Nasiruddin's Blind Man mesmerized all. He too had spent months in a school portrayal of A for the blind observing them. Kamal Hassan will always be remembered for his role as a fisherman in Sagar. But there are not many who would know of the days that Kamal had spent amongst the fisher folk in their basti learning to be one like them. All good actors observe people closely, internalize what they see, and when the time comes, they bring it out before the camera as if it were their own. What you observe should not remain an experience for your mind or your eyes alone. Allow it to train your entire body. Snatch from life, from those who come and go, their gestures, and borrow from them their body language. There is variety everywhere, be it in villages or towns, cities or metros, streets or lanes. There are all kinds of people, with habits and characters so unique and typical. Make them all a part of your inner self, so that when the need arises you don't feel lost. There is no harm in doing this as an actor. Your purpose is to provide a few moments of peace and relaxation to those who need a break from their hectic or monotonous life. Learning to be observant is not a time-bound exercise. It has to go on, in fact it has to be a lifelong process. So embark upon a journey, with your eyes wide open. Life is a flowing river. Dive into it to pick up the pearls of experience. They will be of immense help to you, not only when you are before the camera, but also on the stage called life. Expressive voice. Your backbone as an actor. There's a proverb in the West. It says that a priest may have 1,000 faults but he can conceal them behind his impressive and endearing voice. George Bernard Shaw went slightly negative and said that a person who doesn't have a good voice is neither a man nor an animal, he is Satan. Being a playwright, he knew the importance that voice has in an actor's life. Probably that might have prompted him to make such a harsh observation. We communicate our feelings and opinions in words through the medium of voice. A person may choose his words carefully, trying to hide his true feelings, but his voice may give him away. Therefore, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that it is the voice that conveys the true meaning, not the words. And if the speaker happens to be an actor in front of a camera or on the stage, he uses his voice like a weapon. He knows how to change or modify the texture and tone of his voice. Our voice is an integral part of our personality. For an impressive personality, more than good looks and grooming, one needs an attractive and mellifluous voice. It is natural to be impressed by a good-looking person, but if the voice that comes out of him is unpleasant and irritating, it would hardly take a moment to change your mind about him. Our nature and temperament influence the quality of our voice. One who is nasty and is in a bad humor all the time is likely to have a harsh voice. On the other hand, people with a pleasant disposition generally have a soft and sweet voice. Our voice changes on the basis of our mental and emotional state. It becomes constricted when we cry, while it trembles when we are angry. Have you observed how one sounds when he is ashamed or feel embarrassed? In this technically advanced world of multimedia and film, an actor has to have a good, powerful and expressive voice. The audience is particularly aware of such matters today. On the criteria to assess an actor's ability depends on the quality of his voice. There are no set criteria to assess whether a voice particularly good or bad. Many strange things keep happening in the world of cinema. Can you believe that Amitabh Bachchan, whose dialogue delivery sends the audiences to dizzy heights of delight, could not clear the voice test conducted by All India Radio for the position of a newsreader? The general opinion at Akashwani was that his voice was not fit for the job of an announcer, but this same voice created history some years later. The dialogues delivered by Prithviraj Kapoor are still on the lips of many people even today. But his voice was criticized by newspapers and magazines after the release of Alamara, his first film and also the first talkie film of the Indian film industry. These are only two examples of great voices that were branded as bad in the initial stages of the career of their owners. No one can forget George C. Scott of Patton film fame and Richard Harris of Cromwell. They did not have good voices, but the manner in which they used them made all the difference. Our own Dilip Kumar's voice is not all that great. All those who have heard him speak know it. But on screen it sounds so flawless that it has made him one of the world's greatest actors. Rasa Murad has a special place for the kind of voice he has. His deep expressive voice has captured many a heart, should we say ear? Every word that Rajesh Khanna uttered would break viewers' hearts. That sig inflection in his voice tugged at the hearts and drove his fans crazy. Those who have a voice of high quality, a voice that is deep and rich, are a fortunate lot, but there have also been those who have trained their voices to perfection. Extend a thank you to Almighty God, if you are one of those who belong to the first category. Or if you think that your voice is not as good as it should be, let us together work on it. How to make your voice more impressive? What makes a great voice? There are no set rules to assess the quality of a voice. You know how good voices have been criticized, just as there have been voices that were not so great but still were admired and appreciated. The voices that we have discussed so far are exceptions, but it is not possible to begin our journey as actors with a faulty voice. If you feel that you don't have a good voice, it is important to train it. Given below are some exercises. Follow them and develop a powerful voice. 1. Hold a pencil with your teeth like a cigarette and try to speak clearly. Practice it until you feel the tension on your facial muscles. After you reach this stage, continue speaking for another 5 seconds and then stop. Follow this exercise every day at least once. 2. Stand in such a way that your body weight is distributed equally on both your feet. Place one hand on your stomach as shown in the picture. Keep your mouth wide open. Now say ha and feel your stomach caving in. Then, keeping your mouth wide open and breathing with your stomach, go on extending the same ha now aloud and with force. This exercise will give your voice strength and the ability to speak continuously. 3. Add half a teaspoon of salt in a glass of warm water and gargle regularly in the morning. 4. In order to lessen the tension in the voice, practice Sinasan, a yogic exercise. Kneeling down, place your palms on the floor and balance your body on the palms. Take a deep breath and raise your neck. Then open your mouth, take out your tongue and quickly exhale. 5. Practice pranayama in the clean, early morning air. Fresh air is essential for both your voice and health. These exercises will not change your voice, but they will help you enhance its quality and texture. His long years of experience, says Stanislavski, have taught him that it is important for every actor to possess a beautiful voice and clarity of pronunciation. Voice is the backbone of acting, the only weapon an actor can use to his advantage. You may not know what your real voice is, as your voice keeps changing during the day. The voice you use first in the morning is your real voice. Listen to your voice. Try and sit in a room alone with your ears plugged tightly with cotton wool. Close your eyes and start speaking. Then carefully concentrate and listen to your voice. With regular practice you will slowly learn to identify your voice and soon you will be able to make out the flaws in it. For a flawless voice, your physical and psychological conditions can affect the quality of your voice and speech. Low self-esteem and lack of confidence give rise to stuttering and stammering. This generally happens when a person is constantly subjected to humiliation in the early years of his life. Similarly, many people find controlling their breath a problem. They can speak a few words normally, but as they go on, some will come out as broken pieces of sound without any clarity. The inability to carry on a conversation creates panic, by which one's speech deteriorates further. Pranayama is the best exercise to overcome the problems of stuttering and stammering. Besides helping to strike a balance while uttering words during a conversation, it helps you use words confidently with clarity and correct pronunciation. It is possible to rectify speech defects by regulating the pace with which the words are used while speaking. You can also seek medical help. Homeopathy has effective medicines to cure stuttering and stammering. Simple remedies. If a person has a trembling voice, make him lie down on his back, keep a heavy board or something on his chest and ask him to speak. This exercise has to be done several times a day, however, the weight on the chest should be weight that the patient can easily tolerate. Hum a tune as loud as possible with your mouth shut. Repeat the exercise at least 5 times a day. In a few days, you will notice that the defects in your voice are slowly disappearing. If your voice can have an enemy, it is the common cold. See that even when you catch it, it doesn't start affecting your voice. In order to ensure that you always have a clear voice, do the following exercises. Stand straight on both feet, keeping the body below the neck absolutely still, and close your eyes. Now, slowly bend your neck until the chin touches the chest. Rotate your neck in such a way that your chin comes back to rest on your chest again. Repeat this exercise 4 times and then slowly open your eyes. Trying to yawn with your mouth closed is a seemingly easy exercise for improving the texture of your voice. Now friend, having decided to be an actor, it is time you got into the act of preparing your voice for a successful career. Only alter you groom your voice, should you enter this field. You may have seen how Shashi Kapoor was enchanted by a voice in the film Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Impressed, he fell in love and married the girl for her voice, only to be shattered when he found the ugly scar on her face. Something similar can happen to you. Impressed by your good looks, when a producer decides to meet you, and if you happen to greet him in a voice which is not appropriate, you can well imagine the consequences. It may end your film career even before it takes off. Activities of the body and mind. Striking a balance. Maintain a balance in the activities of the body and mind. An actor's job demands a lot of physical movement. How convincingly he goes about doing these actions depends on his imagination and creativity. Every action of an actor has an objective or reason behind it. When the actor understands this reason and reacts, his performance becomes natural. What one does on stage should be similar to what one would do in such a situation in real life. His actions should come out as if they are happening in real life. His gait, his talk, his way of picking up things or keeping them in their place, gestures of his hands and shoulders, shaking hands, his breathing, the way he looks at things or people, all these should convey the emotions he is going through. In short, while on stage, the actor should be active, both mentally and physically, all the time. Being active does not mean that an actor is active physically and is jumping about all the time. Many a time a person appears still from the outside but mentally very active. This mental activity should be visible on stage or on camera, although they are not really physically visible to the audience. When great actors perform, their physical performance is always in synchrony with the activities taking place in their minds. Good acting is nothing but the output which the body produces in sync with the mind. Such performances affect the audience. For example, if an actor has to close the door, he should have a good reason for doing it, only then will the audience will find his acting convincing. Imagine that an actor is closing the door because he doesn't want anyone to hear him. If his performance fails to make the audience understand this, that he doesn't want anyone to hear him, it means that as an actor he is a failure. Continuous actions done keeping in mind the reasons for doing them can make one an effective actor. All the activities that we do in real life should be the activities that an artist does while acting. If an actor has to make an effort to translate these activities on stage, his acting will not be effective. Therefore, an actor has to be himself. He should act as if he is living his life. Enact the following situations. Standing up. 1. You are in a queue. 2. You are a naval officer and you are standing before your commanding officer. 3. You are a host at your friend's wedding. Sitting down. 1. You are waiting for a friend at a restaurant. 2. You are in an armchair, sitting in a relaxed manner. 3. You are waiting for your turn in an office for an interview. 4. You are taking a nap on a bench in a garden, but you don't want to be caught, so you are putting on an act of being awake. Opening the door. 1. You are a secretary and you are opening the door for your boss. 2. There is a stranger at your doorstep and you are opening the door for him. 3. You keep the door of a hotel and you are greeting a guest. 4. You are opening the door for your beloved. 5. There's a fire in your house and you are opening the door for the fire brigade. 6. You happen to hear a fight and open the door. Walking about. 1. You are thinking of your beloved while walking. 2. You are walking on uneven rocks. 3. You are going for a spacewalk. 4. You are worried about something while you are walking. 5. You are going to someone close to you with some good news. Try to do the activities like walking, sitting, standing, etc. carefully. You will notice that your body language changes with changing situations. While thinking about such activities, you may wonder what is the difference. Walking is walking and sitting is sitting after all. Besides, a door is after all a door, how could opening it be different? But an actor will change the way he or she opens a door given a situation. While opening the door for her boss, a secretary will be polite and respectful. For an actor, opening the door for a stranger and for the fire brigade is not the same. They are two totally different presentations. Acting is an art that exhibits feelings and emotions. You cannot force yourself to show your emotions, you have to feel them. Remember that your feelings are dormant and they have an impact on your mind and soul. The mind is our inner body. You must practice doing activities that are contradictory. Doing such activities regularly will help develop in you the skills necessary to bring out your emotions. The trick is not to think about the expression while you're acting. Your experience will make them appear. What you are doing and why you are doing what you are doing is what you should think about. Concentrate on it single-mindedly. You will realize that your face mirrors the right expressions naturally. The magic of the magical. If the most amazing word the actors have known. Imagine that you are about to do a role. How would you do it? What would you do to present it in front of the camera? It is said that as an actor you have to identify with the character you are playing, or rather live it. The question is, how do you achieve this? Your identity, your feelings and all the qualities that make you, where would they all go? However much you are involved with the character you are playing, is it possible that there will be no glimpse of you in your portrayal? Even when on camera, you know that you are presenting a character. You are not the character. The answer for all this lies in the word if. This word transports an actor to the imaginary world of acting and changes him into an actor. The word if compels an actor to think of a situation that is possible. Once the situation is clear, all that an actor has to do is role-play the character. For example, if a situation says that Mr. Sharma feels that there is someone in the room in the middle of the night, the actor does not have to be under pressure figuring out how he should react in such a situation. All that he needs to do through the medium of acting is what he himself would do in such a situation in his normal life. Imagine that you are playing, for example, Akbar, Anarkali or Salim in the film Mughal-e-Azam. You have not met any of them. You do not even know how they walked, talked or conducted themselves. Then how would you act like them? No matter how imaginative and creative you are, you have no way to find out how Akbar and Anarkali were in real life. What can come handy in such situations is the magic of the word if. It would give you an opportunity to think of what you would do, had you been Anarkali or Akbar. This will provide you the facility to live the character as if you were the character yourself. Doing the character of a drunkard will compel you to see yourself as a drunkard, or doing the character of a don or that of a prostitute, or gambler. You would be following the same principle to act and interact like Lord Ram or Lord Krishna while doing these characters. This technique will help you to do justice to the roles without actually imitating them. Shakespearean plays are being staged in Britain even today. Many times a number of great artists played the character of Hamlet, Macbeth or Othello simultaneously. It is the response to the if factor that makes each portrayal different from the other. Sir Laurence Olivier, Sir John Gielgud and Sir Ralph Richardson did Shakespeare at the same time. The character of Hamlet, Othello and Macbeth played by each would be totally different. The reason for this is the same for each, that each one's preparation was based on what he would do if he were so and so. Thus, despite the script, the story and the character being the same, the character played by each would have the qualities of the personal traits of the actor himself. If inspires you from within. As an actor, you put this question to yourself as to what you would do if you were Romeo in a particular situation. This takes you to the realm of your imagination. Living your life in that realm as your character would make your portrayal unique. In one of his writings, Charlie Chaplin has claimed that he has prepared all his roles with the help of if always. Training to respond to if. List what you would do in response to if in the following situations. 1. Power goes out all of a sudden, when you are getting ready to go for a function. 2. You visit a friend who is ailing. There you meet a person you consider your enemy. 3. You are about to leave for a holiday. Your tickets are booked and you have also made arrangements for accommodation for you and your family at a hotel. Suddenly you receive a phone call informed that your leave has been cancelled. 4. You hear of a person who went mad while working in the place where you are employed now. One fine day you find him at your door. You realize that he has run away from the hospital. Each problem in the list above is the same for everyone. However, the solution for them would be different for different people. The same is true when it comes to acting. Although the subject and the conditions are the same, the output, presentation, from different artists would be different, as each actor would deal with them in their own way. The character of Devdas has been portrayed by K. L. Sahgal, Dilip Kumar and Shah Rukh Khan. Each portrayal is different from the other. Uttam Kumar and Pratmesh Barua in Bengali and Nageshwar Rao in Telugu have also made this character come alive. After reading the novel, if you compare the characters performed by the different artistes, you would know that none of the portrayals of Devdas by these artistes was like the Devdas of the book, although the story and character have been the same. If you are one of those who has understood the magic of if, then it is certain that your preparation to be an actor is complete to a certain extent. Language and pronunciation. Speak and the cat is out. There's a beautiful saying in Sanskrit which says that the most valuable piece of jewel for a fool is silence. As long as a fool remains silent and does not speak, he is appreciated. He may be very good looking and well behaved, but as soon as he opens his mouth to speak, everyone comes to know him for what he is. The same principle is applicable to an actor too. One may be tall and handsome, he may even have an arresting face, but if he is not able to speak well or has poor pronunciation, he will not be able to do justice to his performance. Many good-looking people are not able to pursue a career in acting only because of their inadequacy when it comes to owning a powerful voice or an impeccable felicity with words and pronunciation. We have already had discussions on the development of a powerful voice. The second part of this discussion deals with pronunciation. Many people make a mistake even when they pronounce the word pronunciation. Our films are generally made in Hindi. However, Hindi is not spoken in the same way across the country. People from different regions speak Hindi with the heavy accent of their own mother tongue. We also use Urdu words in our films. Now Urdu is again spoken in three distinct manners. Urdu spoken in Lucknow is different from the Urdu spoken in Hyderabad or in Lahore. Besides, the pronunciation of the letters of Hindi and that of Urdu is again different. In addition, the use of English words is also very common in dialogues written for Hindi films. English has typical pronunciation for words like doctor, college, etc., which when spoken by the native Hindi speaker sound jarring. If an actor does not take pains to learn to use these languages with appropriate diction and clarity, his dialogue delivery will be ineffective. If an actor is not able to pronounce the Urdu words correctly, he can easily become a laughing stock. You can imagine the state of a person who is not able to make out the meaning of the figure of speech used in the following lines. Ben Battle was a soldier bold and used to war's alarms, but a cannonball took off his legs. So he laid down his arms. Ben Battle was a bold soldier who was used to the horrors of war. Unfortunately, while on the battlefield, a cannonball rendered his legs useless. This made him lay down his arms, weapons. The figure of speech used here is pun. A pun is a play on words, that is, the exploitation of two separate possible meanings in one word. Sometimes there is a difference of spelling, but never of sound. 19th century writers regarded pun as a low form of humor, and restricted it to comic verse. There are innumerable words especially in Urdu that can actually mislead a person, therefore, it is necessary for an actor to develop good command over the languages being used in contemporary Hindi films. In fact, many Urdu words have become part of the Hindi vocabulary. Their use has enhanced the beauty of conversation, therefore, learning the correct pronunciation of the Urdu words has become imperative, if one has the desire to refine his language. Correct pronunciation adds to the beauty of a language, therefore. If one feels the need to enhance his conversational skills, he needs to polish his skill of pronunciation of Urdu words. Care should be taken that there is no influence of the diction or accent of any regional language while you speak. Some Urdu words, written with a nukta, need to be pronounced carefully. The presence or absence of the nukta can make a huge difference to the meaning of a word. The words zung and yung are written more or less using the same letters of the Hindi alphabet, the only difference being the presence of a nukta. The first word means rusted iron while the same word without the nukta means war. Therefore, keep a track on words that are with or without a nukta. A dictionary on diction titled Diction Key Dictionary can be handy to identify Urdu words. The author of this Kishore Namit Kapoor, and you can procure a copy and also audiobook by writing to the Institute. This will set all your doubts at rest regarding the Urdu words written with a nukta and thus improve your pronunciation. In order to facilitate the understanding of the subtle differences in the meaning and texture of the language, I am including a translation of an article by my friend late Bring Tupkari as the next chapter. There is no need to discuss this topic further. Pronunciation is something that cannot be rectified just by reading. In order to understand the subtle difference in the meaning and expression and other nuances, it is important to approach a genuine guru who has an in-depth knowledge of the language. Watching Dilip Kumar films carefully can also be helpful. Listening to the songs by Lata Mangeshkar and listening to the news on Akashwani in Hindi and Urdu regularly will not be any less than learning the language from a guru, but listening alone will not help. In order to learn to use it, it is important to practice by repeating what you have listened to. Imagination. Imagination adds color. Imagine that you are passing through a jungle. You lose your way. The sun has gone down. It is dark now. You are anxious. You start hearing sounds, some real and others not. The hissing sound in the bushes sends a shiver down your spine. There is a sudden flutter of wings. Your blood curdles. Wide-eyed you peer at the darkness. You see the outline of an animal, waiting to pounce on you. You can hear your heart beat. It beats faster as the darkness grows deeper. You hear a roar. Isn't it a tiger? You let out a scream. The echo stirs up all kinds of noises. You break into a run, sweating profusely like never before. You climb the first banyan tree you come across. Perched on a branch you try to relax, not realizing that there is another being on that very tree. Your mouth is parched and you are short of breath. You try to relax and look up. Then you see it. The leopard, perched on a branch over your head, staring back right at you. Now come back to reality. Imagine all the things that you could do in such a situation. You could scream or worse faint. The other options would be either to sit still or climb down slowly, not batting an eyelid lest you make a sound. What you would do in such a situation is entirely up to you, or should we say up to your imagination. You can imagine that you have a revolver. You shoot the leopard. Or forget that there's a loaded revolver in your pocket. You see the leopard leap and you jump down from the tree. You and the leopard are now locked in a fist and claw fight. What prompts you to think of all such possibilities? It is your imagination. It has tremendous power. It prompts you to make tough decisions and see them through. Indeed, your imagination can work miracles for you only if you are imaginative enough. In the chapter that deals with the development of the acting skills, you learned how to use the magic of if to live the character you are playing as an actor. This two-lettered word opens up a whole new vista of possibilities. You can further stretch these possibilities of the magical if with your power of imagination. In the example above, you have seen how imagination and creativity can be used in conjuring up a situation of horror and suspense. You have also seen how one can use his imagination to an appropriate end, which could also be comic, the fight with the leopard. Your fertile imagination can help you in preparing your character. Without imagination, the magical if will be only half as effective. Imagine that you are going to do the role of a rich and affluent person in a film. With the help of the magical if, you find out the rich and the affluent do. However, your job does not end there. In fact, it has only helped you to make a beginning. Your imagination should be fired on all 4 cylinders so that you will get creative responses to your queries such as: what do the rich and the famous look like? Is this rich person you are going to portray famous too? If yes, what has made him famous? How does such a person behave? How does he talk, walk and conduct himself? Is he compassionate, serious, selfish, fun-loving, stupid, funny or cruel? When you start thinking on these lines creatively, you will see this character take shape in your mind and finally emerge as a real person in you whom you can feel and converse with. Once this character is ready in you, you feel restless. Until you allow him to be manifest on stage or before the camera. In order to become a powerful symbol of an era as an actor, you should be a visionary. As an actor, you should be able to draw the pictures of your characters in your colorful world. Only then will your characters come to life. Screenplay writers generally write on subjects in the present time. They mention the past or the future only fleetingly. Many times they even leave out a number of events and descriptions. When the actor fills in the missing details with his acting, the characters he plays become immortal. How does he do it? He does it mainly by interpreting the dialogues through his powerful acting. This makes the dialogues more meaningful. Until the actor brings them to life, the writer's lines are as good as dead, no matter who has written them, Kalidas or William Shakespeare. Look at this very ordinary sentence. I have a bad headache. An actor can interpret it in many different ways. The character may be in the grip of fear. He may be afraid that he is suffering from a deadly disease. Headache can be a symptom of a major health problem, you know. The character may just say this to get rid of someone he does not want to be with. It can be an indication for those with him to leave. The character may be genuinely suffering from a headache and would wish to be left alone. It is not the words that are important when an actor speaks them. It is his ability to convey the meaning of the words he is mouthing. It could be just the plain meaning of the words, or the thought behind. Or it could be an opinion. When the actor's imagination catches the right meaning of the lines he is delivering, his tone becomes expressive, which makes the prosaic words of the script interesting and appealing. Stanislavski describes the words the actor uses as the psychological aspect of acting, whereas what the actor does with his body while acting is the physical aspect. Even when the actor is speaking his lines, there is a reaction going on within him. It is from this thought and inner reflection that words in a script are born. They are the physical and concrete expression of the mind of the character the actor is playing. While enacting verbally, the actor should avoid speaking to his co-star's ears. Instead, he should maintain constant eye contact with them. For this, the actor has to study his own reactions to what he says and transmit them to his co-stars. It is possible only if he does his homework well by practicing his expected reactions, keeping a close watch on them. An actor's ability to transmit his psychological reactions onto his co-stars makes him an involved actor with active feelings and emotions. It is important for an actor to know how a character would behave in different situations. Voice is a vehicle of our emotions and behavior in real life. If an artist wants his words to sound natural, he should know the reason the writer has penned those words for the character. Once he understands his character well, he will be able to put his thoughts across to his audience successfully and make his dialogues come to life. If the actor is enthusiastic and convincing in his expression, his audience will easily understand what his words are trying to convey. Imagination makes one creative. An actor has to be imaginative to bring variety in his performance. The writer's job is to create character. All that a director does is to give it a shape. Give the character life is the job of the actor. He does it by actually living character. There are actors who live their characters so efficiently that they come to be known after the characters they have played. For example, Gabbar Singh of the film Sholay. On the basis of an imagination, Amjad Khan created the character of Gabbar Singh, including his mannerism, and lived him so beautifully on camera that even after decades the character of Gabbar Singh lives in the memory of the people. Learning the lines by rote and speaking them out is not acting. This cannot make a character come to life. The character's way of walking, his gait, the style of speaking and his mannerisms all have to be taken care of imaginatively. The dialogue delivery should have appropriate intonation, ups and downs. Imagination can be of great help in this area too. In short, the entire skeleton of the character should be first ready in the mind of the actor, only then can it be translated into a portrayal. What does the audience go to see in the cinema halls and theaters? According to Stanislavski, it is to listen to the meaning of words that is not obvious and the actual meaning of the words. It should also have your imaginative reasoning to make it actually come to life. If you take care of the 5 WH words what, when, where, who, whom and which, your imaginary character will come alive before the audience. Performing on the basis of these 5 WH words, his imagination takes the actor to the heights where his acting skills become naturally active. At this stage, the words and movements of the actor automatically become those of the character he is playing. An actor's ability to act should be the result of his imagination. Given below are some exercises to activate your imagination. Exercises to improve the power of imagination. 1. Isn't it cold today? Enjoyed the musical evening? When confronted with such simple questions, immediately use your power of imagination and think of the people you met or what they were wearing, or what happened at the musical event. Only after me should you answer the question. 2. Look at the picture of a stranger. Say who that could be to make out where he belongs. What does he deal in? What are his interests and what kind of a person is he? Do all this on the basis of what you see in the picture. Carefully study his eyes, hair, clothes, etc. 3. Don't let your thought to be interrupted. Use your imagination and go round the world. While preparing a character for portrayal, do not think of it vaguely. Try to use all possible and definite descriptions continuously. Reasoning and logical thinking make imagination flourish. When you are presenting your character, the words become your own. You have your own viewpoints on people and incidents, Therefore, the dialogues would also sound like your own. Follow your reasoning power and look at the task at hand imaginatively. Soon you will not remain an onlooker, you will become the character. You will then reach the state that Stanislavski describes as I am. Let imagination take wing. You will be transported to the world where your character is. His life would become yours and his experience yours. At this stage your acting will no more be a play act, it will be the creation of a reality. It will transform you into a legend. Right approach to work generates right feelings. Call to mind the scene from Sholay which shows three Gabbar Singh's robbers coming to loot the villagers. However, end up having a clash with the Thakur's two young men, Jay and Biru, who finally drive them away. The robbers save their lives and return to Gabbar's den. In his typical manner, Gabbar Singh has at their expense. In the prevailing mood of lightheartedness, Ga pretends to let the 3 bullets in his revolver decide the fate his 3 unworthy men. He fires 3 shots but the men escape miraculously. This makes Gabbar roar with laughter. Mistaking his sinister laugh for some kind of joke, others also join in. Suddenly the sound of gunfire rips the air, bringing everyone to a standstill. The 3 robbers are seen lying in a heap on the ground. The incidents in the scene are linked with each other so strongly that it gives you a feeling of continuity. The entire scene plays like a movie in your mind. When we watch a film, it appears to us like an ongoing saga. This is exactly what the filmmaker strives to achieve. However, a film is not shot continuously. It is shot in pieces. Further, the gap between 2 shooting schedules may stretch to months or even years, as it was in the case of Kamal Amrohi's Pakiza. But the viewer is not aware of it. He watches the film in its totality, which is what the actor also wants his viewers to do. In the chapter that deals with the skills of acting, you learn that what comes out as acting is the combined outcome of the activities of the mind and the body, therefore, they are interrelated. Since the activities of the mind cannot be seen, the actor uses his physical histrionics to express his thoughts. What the actor should always remember is that the very purpose of his acting is to make his message reach the audience. In order to maintain logical sequencing and to be true to me character, the actor should learn to divide his performance during a shooting schedule. This is generally done on the basis of the different objectives he has to perform in a particular shoot. These 2 objectives make a unit. In other words, a unit in a shoot schedule defines 2 different objectives that an actor has accomplished while shooting a particular scene or a series of related scenes. Imagine that your role in a film demands that you help a friend sort out his differences with his wife. The latter happens to be the woman your character is in love with. Your first objective is to help the couple patch up their differences. Your second objective is to make the woman aware of your good intentions, especially for her. When the actor accomplishes these 2 objectives, he completes a unit. Now, how does the audience know about the feeling of the character you are playing? This calls for further division of your unit. The smaller units are called beats. Playing these beats, the actor puts across to the audience his feelings for his friend's wife. He may do this through theatrical skills such as a special glance or a long deep sigh he sends in the direction of the woman. The actor can organize these gestures into smaller units called beats in a sequence so that he can remember to play them at the right moment. These beats can bring variety to the scene and help the actor to excel. If the actor is dealing with a mature character, he does not have to dwell too deeply on playing these beats, because as the character develops, these beats blend into the main objective, providing color and variety. The units and objectives should conform to the main idea of the storyteller. It is the actor's responsibility to help this idea reach the viewers. If the actor achieves this, it will help him to excel as an actor too. Efforts made to fulfill these objectives mean that an actor is hardworking. It is a sign that all his mental faculties are active, an essential aspect for being creative in the expression of feelings. Every objective has its physical and mental aspects. In order to achieve an objective, one has to make use of both his mental and physical abilities. In this context, Stanislavski has given the example of a scene from Pushkin's Mozart and Salieri. Salieri was jealous of Mozart. He tried to find ways to kill Mozart. Deciding to be done with it, one day he picked up a glass, poured into it an alcoholic drink mixed with poison. Although it was a physical activity, it hit the viewers as a manifestation of the psychological feelings of the character, makes it more like an activity of the mind. Therefore, we can call it a psychological act which had physical elements in it. While doing his role, the actor has to concentrate more and more on expressing himself through his facial and bodily movement. This will enable him to express his feelings naturally. When you struggle to express your inner emotions, it will appear forced and artificial to the audience. A natural actor is one who can emote with ease. An actor has also to use his verbal skills for defining the feelings of the character. Only then will his work be rated as accurate and flawless. For this, he may need inspiration. If he draws it from within himself, his aspirations will also inspire him further. Imagine that you are going to do the role of Shivaji Maharaj in a film and you have completed all the preparation well on time on the basis of what you have learned in the earlier lessons. But if you are not able to get the necessary inspiration, your performance will be dry and soulless. Unit and objective, they are technical words. You may have found this chapter difficult or drab. Then acting is also not so easy that you can do it anyhow. If you want to leave a mark in the field of acting, it is necessary that you learn to cross these hurdles. Perception and reverence. Here's an Urdu couplet. Let's enjoy it first and then try and understand the meaning. Ek andaze bayan hai rang badal di ta hai. Varna dunya mi koya bat nahin. There is nothing new in this world, it is how something is said that makes all the difference. A novel style of presentation can make even the most ordinary things appear accurate and logical. It is true for both acting and life. This new style, however, should be logical and convincing or it would not go down well with the audience. However, it is only fair to remember that reality shown on screen is not the reality of life. A story is a story, it is not real, and so too the characters and incidents in the story are unreal. You should not get carried away by what is done and seen on screen. It would confuse you and make you take the real life for the real one. The actor's job is to tell the audience what he wishes to tell them. A co-actor may be your father or a king, but in reality he is neither. An actor can hold a lifeless object such as a stone or a doll in his hands and behave as if he is holding a live bird with fluttering wings. Making the audience believe what he wants is acting. Making the audience convincingly see what is not their turns acting into an art. An actor is a logical thinker. He uses the magical if to behave logically in a given situation. It sharpens his faculties as an actor and enhances his ability to emote without being artificial. He feels the emotions of his character and makes them his own. Even an emotional turbulence in an actor's life finds expression through his acting, and this has a cathartic effect on the actor. The honest performance of an actor would be very much like what he would do in a similar situation in real life. The truthfulness in acting elevates the actor to the state of I am there. It is a fantastic feeling. Faith and truth provide simulation and prompt the actor to bring out his emotions. While making an attempt at being real, the actor has to remember that reality can be of different kinds. For example, it can be dry or boring, interesting or novel. Besides, one has to refrain from using cliches and outdated mannerisms and antics. The actor should plan how he is going to use his mind and body on the screen in a particular situation. Not doing his homework well can put him in difficulty, as last-minute planning can be quite disconcerting and confusing. The actor should particularly avoid going into unnecessary details in front of the camera. Even when trying to be real on the screen, the actor has to find ways to be creative to maintain novelty in his presentation. In order to cope with new situations that may arise every now and then, the actor should engage in constant research. He has to then compare his finding with what is taking place around him and internalize what he sees, besides learning how to keep him updated all the time. Exercises for developing the ability to experience things. 1. Stand in your room without any clothes on. Imagine that you are about to dress up. You should not have any clothes in your hands. Pretend to pick up each piece of your clothing one by one and put them on. For example, if you are about to wear a shirt, pick it up with both your hands, then as the first step, put your hands into the sleeves. Then bring the two sides of your shirt together, button up and straighten the collar. In the same way, put on the rest of the garments. 2. Repeat this exercise on the basis of a variety of situations. For example, dressing up for a party or for a dance, or getting ready to go to bed. You can also imagine that you are in a hospital getting ready to undergo an operation. Try to reflect the uncertainty of whether or not you are going to make it. While doing these exercises, match your expression to the state of your mind. Make sure that every little action looks real. This will help you to bring out the same feelings and expressions on your face naturally, as you perform on the stage or before a camera. Watching Motilal and Ashok Kumar, you will never feel that they are acting. They look as if they are placing before the audience a slice of their real life. The generation today may not be very familiar with Motilal as an actor. However, there will not be anyone who has not seen at least some films of Ashok Kumar. Although the characters they played were so different from one another, one cannot but notice the ease with which they performed them. While following these exercises, you should have a complete knowledge of what you see, what you believe in, and what you are going to do. These exercises will bring clarity to your acting. For example, when you are getting ready to go to a party, your mood is upbeat. This should be evident in your body language on screen. Similarly, the possibility of undergoing an operation makes a person anxious. The actor may have seen someone as he was being prepared for the surgery. The actor's ability to reflect the uncertainty, whether or not his character was going to make it, would add to his strength as an actor. To be true to the emotions of the character, an actor should learn to feel the way his character does. You may not get it right the first time, but with practice you can perfect it. Try and hurt yourself with a paper cutter. This would give you an idea about how it would be like to be attacked with a sword. Avoid exaggeration in your portrayal. Be natural all the time. Link the different moments of the life of the character in a logical continuation of actions chronologically. In this way you can make your character live in you. Creative memory. Appropriate use of memory. Think of a time when you cried bitterly over something you lost as a child. It could have been a favorite ball or someone very close to you. There may have also been occasions when you could contain your happiness. You were so happy that you jumped in delight. Something might also have given you a fright that even today when you think about it you break into a cold sweat. There might have been instances when you had flown in rage and losing your cool you had hit someone. Your eyes grow misty today when you think about someone with affection and love. He mattered to you so much in so many different ways once. You almost miss him, although you know that you cannot recreate that magic all over again. Some emotions that we have already experienced remain locked in the recesses of our mind. We can use them creatively to evoke similar emotions when we feel the need in the course of our acting career. Emotions that we have gone through once or we are going through now can be of immense help to us as actors. Thinking about an incident that had made us experience a certain emotion at some point in time, we can recreate the same emotion so that our face can express it with ease. Using memory creatively is a skill and needs to be developed systematically. The actor has to constantly enrich his memory with practice. First of all, he has to be a keen observer. He has to keep a close watch on events happening around him and study them objectively. Listening to a variety of music, reading everything he can. Lay his hands on and interacting with people he comes across, all these go a long way in making one's experiences rich. In addition, it is a good practice for an actor to study people, their behave in different situations and analyze the reasons that make people behave the way they do. These experiences become great resources to draw strength from for an actor. Inspiration may or may not provoke you to exhibit the required emotions. Therefore, as an actor you have to find out what actually can work for you. Emotions are like flowers. They need constant nurturing. Once these flowers wilt, you cannot make them bloom again, but they can definitely give rise to new flowers. So don't be disheartened. As you know, emotions are born from experiences. Reliving these experiences, one can manifest the same emotions again. An actor can use this memory creatively to his advantage. In order to achieve this, you may use of following prompters. Use your body and mind convincingly. Use the magical if to define situations. Use your creativity to the optimum. Study the character with utmost concentration. Divide the shooting schedules into units on the basis of the two different objectives you have to achieve during a shoot. Organize your beats chronologically in a logical sequence and play them with precision. Understand the hidden meaning of words used in the dialogue and emote accordingly. Be natural. Do not exaggerate. Underplaying can often bring out the best in an actor. Use light and sound to your advantage. There are actors who use light and shadow for effect. You can always make suggestions to the directors and actors in this regard. All these are inspiring techniques an actor can use as prompters. They can act like catalysts and enhance your acting skills. Exercises. 1. Get a group of people and stand around a table. What does this situation remind you of? 2. Listen to the cacophony as you pass along a crowded road. What does it indicate? 3. Switch off the lights for some time. Does the darkness in the room trigger any memories in you? The atmosphere around you influences your feelings. These feelings help you express your emotions in the same way as happens in real life. Every action needs to be supported by what you feel from within. Your inner experiences enhance the quality of your outward expressions. You should not make use of the same creative memory repeatedly, as it can make your resources go dry. You must try to awaken in you different feelings with practice, or your acting will appear to be forced and artificial. An effective actor is capable of bringing the required feelings and emotions the moment the director gives him the indication that the cameras are starting to roll. Stanislavski could experience this state. He totally gave up the technique of using his creative memory in the last years of his acting career. When an actor reaches the stage of a creator from within, his emotions find expression on their own. There was another reason that made Stanislavski gave up the practice of depending on his creative memory. The following illustration will help you to understand this. An actor may understand the need to cry while performing a scene, but he cannot use the same emotion which made him cry again and again. If he does this, he will end up doing the scene in the same way every time he cries on the screen. If Kamal Hassan were to do this, do you think he could have given us that memorable scene of crying over the dead body of his son in the film Nikon? Watch Dilip Kumar's films Ganga Jamuna, Shakti, and Mashal. Vijayanthimaala, Rocky, and Vaida Raman have done the role of the wife of the characters Dilip Kumar has played in these films. All three wives die in their respective films, and Dilip Kumar is seen crying over the dead body of his wife in each of them. You can yourselves see how each scene that Dilipji has done is different from the others. If Dilip Kumar had done these scenes on the basis of one emotional moment from his memory, his role would not have appeared so totally different one from the other. They would all have looked the same. Acting is a product of the body and mind. Physical action can be restricted easily, but since it is difficult to detect the activities of the mind, they don't need any restrictions. An actor should use his physical movement comprehensively. These movements have the ability to evoke the activities of the mind and give the actor a chance to understand the character he is playing. Simultaneously, the actor has to ensure that his movements are logical and convincing and provide continuity to his acting. While developing the last treatise of his work, Stanislavski, who was preparing for Molière's play Tartuffe, said to his co-stars, "I will not be alive for long, so it is my duty to make my knowledge and experience reach other actors. Acting should be natural and direct. The logic of your body will help you express your feelings logically. What more could an actor ask for? Interaction and exchange of ideas. The ability to reproduce long sentences without any problem is what many think acting is all about. They forget that listening to the co-stars and giving adequate attention to what they say is also very important. Your co-star's presence in a scene is as important as your own. The words of every actor, just like your own, contribute to taking the storyline forward. In fact, it is the interactions of different characters that add life to the drama on the screen. Acting is not simply delivering your dialogues, it is reacting to the lines spoken by your co-stars. No matter how great an actor you are, you cannot afford to ignore your co-stars. You have to establish a rapport with them and understand their characters. The absence of such a rapport can only make your character a misfit in the entire scheme of things. Acting dynamics. An actor's ability to reach out to his co-stars will help him receive the right responses from them. His convincing performance can even bring the best out of the mediocre actors that he is sharing the scene with. Although he already knows the lines they are going to say, a good actor reacts to the words of his co-stars as if he is hearing them for the first time. He also knows that he should not interrupt his co-stars, even when they are taking longer pauses while delivering their lines. This will help in creating mutual respect and understanding on the sets. Conversation with self or imaginary characters. An actor should keep a conversation going with his own inner self. Stanislavski says that this exchange gives the actor the feeling that he is representing two different characters. However, this statement of Stanislavski is against his own teaching ideals. In an imaginary conversation, you can make use of the magical if. For example, you can ask yourself what you would do if you were to come face to face with a ghost. You would extend your hand to shake hands and say, "Hello, ghost. How have you been?" "Good." You will reply for the ghost. "How about now, when I am standing in front of you?" Speak the line for the ghost. "Do you think I should be scared to see you?" This time you are the speaker. Dialogues are the verbal actions of an actor. They sharpen the intellect and provoke emotions even in his co-stars. It is also essential for an actor to decide whether he would want his words to have an impact on his co-star's intellect or on his creative expression. An actor can decide this only when he has analyzed even the smallest detail of the incident in the story carefully. It is important for an actor to be aware of the objective behind his every action. He should know why he is doing what he is doing. For example, if he is shown visiting a friend, there can be a number of reasons. He could be paying a visit to his friend to encourage him or to refuse him something or even to insult him. An actor should also know what logic and words he is going to use to relate his feeling to make the scene truly convincing. When these verbal reactions make a scene come to life, they become the verbal actions of the actor. Speaking is an important aspect of acting. Stanislavski has said that when people speak, they first listen to what they hear. It is only after this that the body begins to react. The most convincing example of this is a scene shown in the film Terragher ke Samne. The lead pair of the film is portrayed in love with each other. But there is a strong enmity between their two families. The two fathers, Om Prakash and Harindranath Chattopadhyay, are arch enemies. In a particular scene in the film, Dev Anand and Nutan's families are in the same hotel. In fact, Dev Anand is shown in the company of Nutan's family. However, Nutan's family is not aware that Om Prakash is in fact Dev Anand's father. As Dev Anand sees his father entering the place, he starts speaking to Nutan's father about an incident of a confrontation with Om Prakash. In the conversation, Dev Anand very cleverly speaks the words that he had supposedly spoken to Om Prakash aloud so that Om Prakash actually feels that his son is shouting at his enemy. Harindranath Chattopadhyay. Harindranath, on the other hand, is happy that his prospective son-in-law also shares his feeling about his enemy. Although they both are listening to the same words spoken by Dev Anand at the same time, their reaction to those words is totally the opposite. This is how an actor should influence the feelings of his co-stars with his verbal actions. The actor needs to go through the same process that the writer has and familiarize himself with situations before he develops his own character and makes it react. This is how characters become immortal on screen. Character entities in perfect synchrony. An actor has to know how his character should respond to the other characters. Therefore, he has to be familiar with the entity of the characters his co-stars are playing. Let us take an example to understand this more clearly. Imagine that your character has an appointment at 5 o'clock in the evening but you are still at the office at 4:30. Your boss still has some work for you. Now you have to think of a way of keeping your appointment. If the character of your boss is that of a foolish person, your character should react to him accordingly. You should choose simple and direct words for your character so that it is easily understood by the character your co-star is playing as your boss. On the contrary, if the boss's character is that of an intelligent or crafty person, Your character need not use too many words to make him understand what you have in mind. From the way your character hurries with his work, your boss would understand that you need to leave on time. This is the synchrony that should exist amongst the entities of the different characters in a situation. As an actor, one should learn to adapt to new situations. There should be coordination and variety in acting. Your response should be creative and spontaneous. You should not be predictable as an actor. When you are expected to lose your temper, you should surprise your audience by being calm, and since it would be a spontaneous action on your part, the impact would be tremendous. As an actor, you may receive a number of tips from your directors. If you find them constructive, you may use them by all means. An actor's strong convictions help him in manifesting his feelings with efficiency. He is able to do this because his subconscious mind generates wonderful ideas naturally and spontaneously. Rhythm and beat. There is a rhythm and beat in every moment of life. The melody they create gives life its tempo. We can even feel this music within us, and it changes its tempo every moment with every incident. Feel the music that we experience as we set out to work. It would be totally different from what we would experience as we return home. Listening to a melody and hearing the distress call of fire engine provide us totally different experiences. While one is smoothing, the other can make us apprehensive. It is this effect that can powerfully inspire an actor to express different feelings. Although it is an actor's experiences that bring out his inner feelings. What makes them visible is this rhythm, so much so that it helps the actor to bring out these feelings almost mechanically. As an actor, one should feel this rhythm in everything he does or goes through. In fact, he should be like someone who leads an orchestra. He should know how to choose the right rhythm and beat to go with the character he is playing. Once he succeeds in doing this, it should be easy for him to translate his own experiences of real life onto the reel. This is what is expected of an actor ultimately. This beat and rhythm helps an actor to plumb the depth of acting. Surprisingly, Stanislavski does not talk about it in his book Inner Techniques, a book on techniques of acting. However, it is now established that the techniques based on the rhythm and beat are more powerful a medium than the intrinsic techniques that an actor can use to generate emotions. Exercises. 1. You are late to work and you have to still finish your breakfast. Find an appropriate rhythmic beat to convey this urgency. 2. Write different letters to different people. What would be the rhythmic pattern that you would use to carry out this task? 3. Live life with music. Learn to express different feelings through different types of music. The body. Your body is your outer mind. For an actor, his body is like a musical instrument. He uses it to create the melodious music of powerful acting. However, the body alone cannot make one an actor. If it were so, all the bodybuilders would have made good actors. It is not necessary for a man to be tall, hefty or muscular to be an actor, or for a woman to be slim and lissom to prove her acting prowess. An actor should have a healthy, supple and energetic body which can coordinate well with his mind. If the actor is clear about how he is going to use his physical actions in a particular situation, it would become easy for him to portray his character. Through his physical actions, an actor projects the emotions of his character and they look realistic when he knows what he is doing and why. Thus the character comes to life right before the eyes of the audience. They forget the actor but the character is remembered. Easy and realistic movements used by the actor provoke in him the emotions of the character. Since emotions are not visible, he manifests them through his body. An actor should have total control over his physical actions. His ability to go through the feelings of his character physically makes his acting powerful. His inability to do so would have a negative impact on his acting prowess. This can be explained with the help of an example. Imagine that there is a situation in which an actor has to close the door. There should be some reason behind his doing it. One of them could be that he doesn't want anyone to hear him speak. How does the actor make this message reach his audience? An effective actor has to remember that his body is his medium of communication. He should know how to use his body language effectively to achieve this objective. However, an actor can also express himself without using his body. It sounds contradictory, doesn't it? But it is possible with training. An actor can train his mind to go through a series of actions and reactions and can actually make them so powerful that they start coming across to the audience almost physically. They look so real to the audience that they start feeling them. How many times have you been moved to tears by a performance? For an actor, his body is the medium for his creative expressions. The origin of the word acting lies in the Latin word actio, which means to do something. The word acting, actor and act have all been derived from the word actio. Now you know the reason why the two words actor and action are so related. Drama is another Latin word. It means action on stage. Action is there because there is a body to carry it out. Therefore, acting and action cannot be separated from each other. The working of the body. The body is a machine. Only when it used in the right manner can it become a powerful medium of expression. Often we come across in society people whose bodies are rather shapeless with asymmetrical growth of limbs or the other body parts. A concave chest or inward turned cheeks do not mean anything to us. We take them as nothing unusual and never even wonder why some of us have such bodies and appearances. However, when such deformities are shown in cinema, TV or on stage, thousands of eyes scrutinize them in the minutest detail. These physical shortcomings in people disappoint the audience immensely. But there is another side to it. When an actor portrays a character full of such physical defects convincingly, he is applauded for doing it so realistically. What hurts people is the reality. Reality bites, not replicating it. What kind of a body should an actor have? An actor should have a beautiful, proportionate and supple body so that he can use it to suit the demands of the characters he is playing. But the question is how to manage to be in such a wonderful shape? An actor should avoid rigorous exercises such as weightlifting. Gymnastics and dancing are ideal exercises for an actor, however, it is yoga that gives one the maximum benefit. The end result of any exercise for an actor should be one which would make his body look like carving, chiseled out of rock. An ideal form of exercise should rectify the body's shortcomings and enhance its appearance. The mind. Don't let your mind wander. The mind is said to be always restless. It keeps wandering. Imagine that you are performing on stage but your mind is still entangled in the fight you just had with your girlfriend. Many things can agitate your mind even when you are performing. Imagine that you are in the middle of a shoot and you come to know about the death of someone close to you or someone informs you about your stolen bag. Such incidents can make you lose concentration, which can be dangerous for you as an actor. The challenge is to stop your mind from wandering and make it concentrate. Only this can make you flourish as an actor. There are stories that tell you how actors had to do their jobs even when they were unwell. Forgetting their pain, they have breathed life into their characters and roles. While shooting for the song Yari Hai Iman Mera in the film Janjir, Pran went ahead and shot the sequence despite running a very high fever. He could do this because he had the willpower to make his mind concentrate on the job. This is only one example. The film industry is replete with such stories. Even in his early days of staging plays under his newly formed Moscow Art Theatre, Stanislavski believed that an actor has also to be mentally present on the stage. One may be doing everything that is expected of him, but if his mind is not in it, he would not be able to do justice to his role. Stanislavski, as a director, insisted that all his artists observed a 15-minute silence before they went up on the stage to perform. That helped the actors to get into their characters and focus. However, this tradition was broken by some actors that came later on. They would deliberately talk on subjects other than the play they were going to do in a few minutes. Thus they proved that it is possible to concentrate on anything anytime, if one is trained to do so. Training is important for an actor in many ways. It helps him see things that are not there and respond to them. It teaches how to make his audience see what he wants them to see. Training one can improve his looks and change the texture voice. Being fearless is one of the qualities of an actor. One can get rid of one's baseless fears through training. Stage fright is one of the greatest problems of an actor. One of the causes of such a fright is the prospect of facing an audience. The realization that there are so many people watching you can be intimidating. Your training should help you get rid of this fear. You should feel as if you are alone even when you are in a packed auditorium. Stanislavski has coined a new term for this state, being public solitude. Now, how can you be alone when you are on the stage? In the following lines lies the answer to this question. These are the lines by Lord Krishna in the great epic Mahabharata. The meaning of these lines is as follows. What ordinary mortals call night is the time that the learned consider as their time to be awake, and when the whole world wakes up, it is night for the learned. It is this philosophy of the Gita that Stanislavski is trying to describe in simple words as being alone in a crowd. If you have been able to attain this state, you have taken a very firm step to being a great actor. Stanislavski is of the opinion that an actor can find more than one objective to concentrate on while he is trying to improve his concentration span. Almost all of us, the real people, have in our minds a semi-constant flow of thoughts which are spoken in the form of monologues. They are monologues because it is the same person in each of us that is talking to us as someone else. The Stanislavski method attempts at focusing on what we are about to do by engaging ourselves in monologues with our co-stars in our minds. Exercises to improve the power of now. 1. Look at something that is closest to you carefully. Study its color, shape and other important features. Now make a note of the things that you have seen without looking at this object. See how long you take to complete this exercise. Repeat the exercise until you can complete the task in the shortest possible time span. While concentrating on objects that are at a distance, care should be taken not to let your attention wander. You could construct a story and fit in these objects in the story in your imagination. Or imagine that the cup you are holding is the one that Napoleon had sipped from once upon a time. Or imagine that the carpet under your feet has come from a palace in Turkey. 2. Ekpadeshan. This yogic exercise, also known as Vrikshasana, is especially beneficial for developing greater concentration power. Method. A. Try to maintain your balance standing on one foot. You are likely to feel uncomfortable initially, so try to support your body leaning against something like a wall. But once you gain your balance, get rid of the support. B. Join your hands, as if in prayer, balancing your body on your right leg. C. Slowly raise your left leg and place the sole of your left feet against the inside of your right thigh. D. Keep your balance by applying pressure with the sole on the thigh. E. Close your eyes and try to be steady on your foot. F. Maintain the posture for 2 minutes initially. G. Repeat the same exercise standing on the left foot. You can do this exercise 2 to 3 times by changing from one foot to another and increasing the time from 2 minutes to 3 and so on. Keep breathing normally. Managing stress. Stanislavski is of the opinion that only if one is physically relaxed can he be relaxed from within. He has convincingly proved that unless a person is totally relaxed physically, his mental faculties will not function normally, and therefore, it is important for an actor to know how to relax his worn-out muscular tissues and rejuvenate them. Performing before an audience or in front of the camera can have telling repercussions on an actor both physically and mentally. The stress he goes through while doing a sequence can leave his muscles taut and stretched. Managing stress or tension is one of the skills that an actor has to master. He should learn how to look for evidence that would tell him that he is undergoing stress. Continuous monitoring and self-examination would lead him to find ways to get out of such situations so that in due course able to do it mechanically. Stress busters. A. 1. No matter whether you are sitting, standing or lying down, make sure the muscles that are not supporting the present posture are in a relaxed mode. 2. Try to relax your muscles to the bare minimum. This will help you to keep them under your control. 3. It is important for you to explain why you are in such a posture. This will help you make your muscles relax naturally. You can take the support of the magic if or that of Stanislavski's famous phrase, your action in a given situation. What does Stanislavski mean by your action in a given situation? Imagine that you have been working on the computer. Your shoulders and fingers are now beginning to feel the stress. You know that you need to do some stretching exercise that involves stretching of your hands. When you lift your arms, imagine that you are in a garden and you have raised your hands to pluck some fruit from the tree. This would give you an objective to raise your arms and make your posture an activity. The definite purpose behind this activity will make the tension that your muscles were experiencing vanish. This is what Stanislavski means by the term your action in a given situation. Once you learn to do this, Your posture will no more remain just a posture, but it will transform into activities that you engage in consciously. B. Take deep long breaths just before you set out for a shoot. This would help you to relax naturally. C. Concentrating on something can be relaxing. When you are doing an exercise, concentrate your attention on three things: tension, relaxation, and necessity. Yoga. Gaining control over one's own mind is rather an impossible task. One can do it to some extent through yogic exercises popularly known as yogasanas. These exercises play an important role in keeping one healthy and fit physically, as well as in improving one's concentration span, a key factor that helps one achieve excellence as an actor. Breathing forms the basis for all yogic exercises, therefore it has a lot of significance in an actor's life. An actor's ability to deliver his lines effectively mainly depends on how well he is able to control his breath. The fast-paced life in this age of technology is taking a toll on man's health and well-being. The growing demands of this materialistic world have made life a living hell. No one seems to have a moment to spare for himself, and before he becomes aware of the plight he is in, it is often too late. If there is anything that can help man live a healthy and fulfilling life today, it is the exercises like yogasana, pranayama, and mudras. The power of pranayama is incredible. Its practice can create in man the strength of an elephant and the energy that can drench a person in his own perspiration at a Himalayan peak even when he is not sufficiently clad. Allopathy has no medicine for diseases like asthma and conditions like diabetes. However, yoga can help you destroy such ailments permanently. Being a workaholic is as harmful as being a waster. All work and no rest can affect one's competence of performance output adversely. Factories in Canada and Russia gave their workers yoga breaks to ensure better output. Lack of a constructive occupation makes a person lethargic. People who are overtly rich can fall prey to maladies that are a result of a prolonged state of inactivity and a sedentary lifestyle. Their life is lived through a series of buttons. They become easy prey to a number of diseases such as high blood pressure and coronary diseases that may lead to strokes and heart attacks. Pranayama. Pranayama, or control or regulation of life force, is the fourth step in the Ashtanga yoga system laid down by Patanjali. Pranayama comes after Vam, Niyam, and Asana. So it should be undertaken after getting at least a reasonable degree of proficiency in the asanas. Control of the body through posture is the first step, control of the breath is the second, which will eventually lead to the control of the prana or the life force. The ancient yogis in India knew the intimate relation between the breath and the mind. For example, when your mind is angry, you will experience a disturbed breathing. And similarly, if you hold your breath for long, your mind will get agitated. This shows that by controlling the breath, one can indirectly have control over his mind, a factor that comes handy while developing the skills of concentration. Breathing. It is important to know about sectional breathing. We breathe through three parts of the chest: upper, middle, and lower chest, and the abdomen. We have to first learn how to breathe through each part individually before we can breathe through all of them. Mastering this technique would be of immense help to you. The following steps would help you master it. 1. Sit in any comfortable position and then lift both arms up and bend them backwards at the elbow to touch your back below the shoulder blades. Now take a few deep breaths through the upper chest. You can feel this part working in this posture. 2. Now place your hands on the sides of your chest just below your armholes. Take a few deep breaths through the middle chest. 3. Then place your hands on the lower side of the chest where the rib cage ends. Take a few deep breaths through the lower chest. 4. Place one hand on the navel. Take a few deep abdominal breaths. 5. The next step is to take a tidal breath involving inhalation and exhalation through all these parts. Practice the above steps for a few days. Then proceed to nadinadana, or purification of the nadis or the psychic channels. This is a preliminary to pranayama as recommended by Sri Shankaracharya thousands of years ago. Preparation for Nadi Shodhana. 1. Block your right nostril with your thumb. Breathe in and out and silently, but not forcefully, through your left nostril 4 to 5 times. 2. Repeat the same exercise by blocking the left nose. Breathe in and out through the right nostril. 3. Now block the right nostril, inhale through left. Release the right nostril and breathe out through it, simultaneously blocking the left nostril. Repeat this exercise a few times. 4. Repeat the entire process reversing the nostrils I. E. Block the left nostril, inhale through right and then block the right and exhale through the left. Practice the above exercise for at least a week before you begin the actual Nadi Shodhana, which can be done following the steps given below. 1. Block the right nostril, inhale through left. 2. Block left nostril and exhale through the right. 3. Now block the left nostril and inhale through right. 4. Release the left nostril, block right, and exhale through left. Make sure that there is no gap between these steps. Repeat the entire exercise at least twice a day. In a few months, your nadis, psychic channels, will be purified. These exercises are harmless if followed as per the directions given above. Yogendra Pranayam. Some pranayam or breath control exercises are of a general nature, performed especially to correct breathing difficulties or to facilitate easy movement of the body. Here is an easy exercise which you can easily do following these steps. 1. Lie down on your back, fold your legs at the knees and place the heels on the floor as shown in the picture. 2. Keep one hand on your stomach and the other by your side. Your stomach should be relaxed. 3. Take a deep breath and try to fill your stomach with air only as much as you can comfortably. Keep counting while you have an idea about the time that you have taken to draw in the air. 4. Breathe out, pulling your stomach in, as much as you can. Counting so that you know that you have taken the same time to exhale as you did when you inhaled. The number of counts for breathing should be the same as that you counted while breathing in. 5. Limit the length of time that you take for inhalation as 5 seconds, which should be the same length of time for exhalation initially. 6. Do the entire procedure 10 to 15 times. You can also increase the duration from 5 seconds to 8 seconds. This is an ideal yogic exercise for the lungs. It gives relief from most of the problems that one faces related to breathing. It is a cure for constipation and can help you control your weight. Shavasana. 1. Lie down on your back with hands by your sides with palms facing upwards. 2. Open and close your eyes 3 times. 3. Touch the roof of your mouth with the tip of your tongue with your mouth shut. Count 10 and then open your mouth. Repeat 3 times. 4. Now close your eyes and try to detach yourself from your sensory organs. Nothing in the world can affect a dead body. Imagine that you are a dead body. 5. Feel every part of your body relax, starting from the tip of your toes, your feet, your ankles, your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hips, your waist, your lower back, your abdomen, your upper back, your chest, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your fingers, your face, your forehead, your head. Soon you will find every part of your body in a state of relaxation. 6. In your mind, transport your entire being to a place of enchanting natural beauty, a great expanse of land with an ocean of yellow mustard flowers, into a moonlit night by a river into which drop silvery waters running down the mountain slopes, to a huge window of a 5-star hotel, overlooking a shimmering bay under the gray monsoon skies in the middle of the day. Feel the exquisite beauty of the surrounding all around you. 7. Take 3 to 4 long breaths and exhale and try to fall asleep. Shavasana is a yogic exercise that acts as an effective stress buster. It drains you of tensions of the body and mind and helps to alleviate conditions that lead to diseases like high blood pressure, epilepsy, insomnia, madness and coronary diseases. Yogendra Nisband Bhav, a state of idleness and oblivion. This exercise leads to a state of constructive idleness and oblivion when the mind stops thinking the numerous thoughts that create stress in the mind and body. This state of transformation can be achieved by developing a feeling of letting go. The following steps can help you achieve this state. 1. Sit down leaning against a wall. 2. Spread your hands and legs. 3. Let your body loose and totally be out of your control. 4. Breathe normally. 5. Focus on some sound, for example, the sound of a fan, or pumping machine. 6. Feel the sound growing more and more feeble. Soon you will reach a state when you will not hear it, you will not feel anything, a state of idleness and oblivion. It is the ultimate of the exercises that can make you feel totally tension-free. This exercise is one of the available methods of controlling your mind and body. Do this exercise every day for 15 minutes and feel fresh and energized. This exercise can be done even sitting in a sofa or a chair. Important and necessary tips for people practicing yoga. Diet. 1. Take 8 to 10 glasses of water every day. 2. Stop eating before you feel full. 3. Eat small meals. 4. Include cereals and sprouts for breakfast. 5. Make soups and salads part of every meal. 6. Avoid fat and fried food. 7. Avoid drinking water while having a meal. Turning a vegetarian is the most ideal thing that one can do for his or her well-being. Who would like to turn his stomach into a graveyard? It is another way to look at things. In our heart of hearts, we are all vegetarians. We are all against cruelty to animals, and we like to talk about animal rights even on days when we are not observing Animal Rights Day. Hygiene. 1. Ensure that your bowel movements are normal. 2. Brush your teeth twice a day. Also use a neem stick. 3. Scrub your body with gram flour. 4. A cold water bath in the morning is most ideal for that tingling fresh feeling the advertisements talk about. 5. Take a shower before going to bed. Yoga. 1. Do yoga in the open air. 2. Make sure that you don't catch a chill in winter. 3. Make Sarangasana part of your exercises every day. 4. End your yoga exercises with Shavasana for 10 to 15 minutes, an exercise to improve your emotional quotient or EQ. You need 10 minutes to do this exercise, and this exercise is done just before you go to bed. 1. Sit in Vajrasana or Sukhasana. 2. Think about all the events that took place in your life on this day and in the sequence they took place. 3. Make a mental note of the people you met and interacted with, things you came across or used in your reactions to these people and things. 4. Think about all the unpleasant situations, events and people that made you feel uncomfortable and unhappy. 5. Think about all the pleasant situations, events and people that made you feel comfortable and happy. 6. Focus on the situations and events when you wanted to react, but did not. 7. Focus on the events that made you react or protest. 8. Analyze even the smallest of events and things that happened to you or that you came across. By the time you finish this exercise, you will have become aware of some pleasant and many unpleasant things about yourself of that you were subjected to. Do not be afraid of your shortcomings. They will help you grow closer to reality. Only then can you work on them and overcome them. You must not pay much attention to trivial things. This will help you not to be upset about insignificant things, which will lead you to a more fulfilling life. Therefore, make sure that you spend the last 10 minutes before going to bed every day in introspection. It will help keep you connected with your inner self. Some tips for a healthy and fulfilling life. You are your own best friend. 1. Have total faith in yourself and your capabilities. 2. Respect yourself and your body and love it. 3. Do not shirk duty. 4. Do not overwork, take a break when you feel tired. If you push yourself further when tired and worn out, you will be using double the energy that you would normally spend doing the same job. 5. Take smaller meals at least 5 times a day. 6. Avoid snacking and taking beverages like coffee. 7. Avoid the intake of aerated water, instead have a lot of fresh fruit and juice. 8. Remember that you expend more energy standing than walking. 9. Relax whenever you find yourself overtired and do not think or plot the next course of action while you are relaxing. 10. Do not set unrealistic goals. Do your duty with the best of your efficiency, be dedicated to whatever you do and success will follow. 11. Take a lighter meal for dinner at least an hour before you go to bed. Overeating can cause acidity, noisy stomach and indigestion. 12. Make a conscious effort to go to bed with a relaxed mind and body. Avoid reading books like thrillers, romantic novels or horror stories just before you fall asleep. 13. Do not make a habit of taking patented medicines like tranquilizers, laxatives and purgatives. 14. Make sure that you get a full night's sleep and wake up rejuvenated. Do not expect life to be totally stress-free. It is an unnatural state. There is something called good stress. This stress is what makes you to jump out of bed, swing into action every morning, day after day for months and years together. It is this stress that keeps you awake all night learning your lessons. Learn to use stress positively. The power of now. Acting takes you to a world of possibilities. An actor is a mini Brahma. The following excerpt is taken from an interview with Kishore Namit Kapoor by Urvashi Irani, published in the magazine, Life Positive. The actor is perceived as an entertainer and the significance of acting as an art form is little understood. What are your views on acting and its spiritual dimension? For me, the definition of acting is simple. Your human soul gives birth to a new human being through art. And so, you undergo labor pains. Children are not an extension of their parents' lives, they have a soul of their own, so it's a process of discovering who you really are. People think they know who they are, but they don't. Basically, people live in boxes, which they label introvert, extrovert, ambivert, submissive, assertive, arrogant and so on. Therefore, people have different definitions about their personality, but that's not who they really are. In the process of acting, people come out of their boxes, transcend and go beyond. They learn that they are not limited and so they expand their boundaries. Then, they understand that they can step into the realm of all possibilities. Ultimately, acting is not just a projection of one's own personality. Personality is very limited, it's basically genes and conditioning, consisting of one's psychology, sociology and physiology. But the process of acting is to know oneself. One not only gets transformed, but also becomes aware of one's true self, truth, bliss and awareness. You are talking about a very high state of being, akin to that of a yogi. Yes, the secret of an actor is to have a calm center and be aware just like a yogi. A yogi is stoic, never loses his cool and is focused within even while he is surrounded by people. He can be happy despite surrounding tension, and finally, can enter into a separate body through yogic powers. His only weapon for all this is concentration, dhyan. Now compare this with an actor's life. He is stoic. Be it sporting transparent, flimsy clothes in the sub-zero temperature of Alaska or wearing woolen attire in the scorching heat of Jaisalmer, he is equally at ease. Even if he is facing tension at home, he can put it aside and concentrate on his character and given scenario. And finally, like a yogi, he can enter into the body of the character that is portraying. Concentration is what leads a person to become, and as the final destination of concentration is yoga, asceticism. When ascetic brings all senses and faculties together, with total control gets linked to God. With concentration, if one can realize God, that acquiring acting skills is much easier. Acting is being in the moment, using the power of now. You are cut off from the past and the future. But it's not only concentration, it is concentrated concentration which translates into awareness. At one and the same time, you are relating to a fellow actor, the light, the source of the key light, the frame, the camera and the people behind, and yet you do it with intense awareness. What is your approach to acting? Methodical or intuitive? Let me start by saying that an actor is a cause, not an effect. In life, people are like reaction machines. They are hurt if someone criticizes them and happy if someone praises them. I am not saying that you should not feel hurt or happy, but the point is that they are only reactions and life should be from a level of response with yourself. Acting is not reacting, acting is responding. When you work methodically, you know how to respond to the situation or the dialogue or stimulus. My approach is simple. The best actors are those who are methodical and intuitive, which means, when the director says action, take a pause so you get in touch with your higher self, and the work and preparation you have put in will get logged on like a computer. Thus you use both method and intuition. Method, once learned, becomes part of your system, and then it is up to you to take it to a higher level. But method should not limit you, it should only prepare you. Method is the craft and intuition the art. Both are essential to be a good actor. As an actor you are in the field of creativity, so you amaze yourself. You do something that is magical. Like a miracle. That's what actors experience. They keep on experiencing that sense wonderment, I did that, really? But there is a common notion that actors are born and can be trained. Sir John Gielgud, a famous actor, too had the same question, but slowly he realized that this was incorrect. I never believed that acting could be taught. But today, when I think about my acting career, I realize how bad I was in the beginning. In fact, as I kept working with better directors and great actors, my acting constantly improved. Amitabh Bachchan confesses openly even today that he regrets not being a trained actor. Every art form has a means for expressing its creativity. In the case of acting, you are the instrument, you are the player. But there is no external material to mold, no instrument to play. What you have to gain mastery over is your complete being. So you need to train your body, mind, and soul. Dilip Kumar, not being a trained actor, was affected adversely by doing tragedies. There came a point where he had to go to a psychiatrist and seek help. He was advised to do some comedy films, and that proved to be his remedy. What has been the inspiration for your acting training? The world is today discovering EQ, emotional quotient, and square, spiritual quotient, but India has had it all along in the form of the Natya Shastra, the ancient Indian treatise on the performing arts. The medium of expression might have changed, but the insights about the art of acting remain true even today. For example, take the Rasa theory of the Natya Shastra, where art elevates emotions to a higher level of experience for the actor and the audience. When we experience emotions through art, it becomes the means to a higher truth. The Natya Shastra talks about 8 rasas. Shantata, the 9th one, is not pertinent to an actor. What is interesting is that 4 rasas, love, bravery, laughter, wonderment, are not ego-based, while anger, fear, sorrow, repulsion are ego-based. These deep insights about human nature are useful as a guide to a deeper understanding of the art of acting. In the modern world, it was Stanislavski who introduced the concept that an actor needs to introduce to acting various disciplines, like psychology and behavioral sciences, that help him prepare and understand himself better. What motivated you to start acting? Let me tell you a story. There was a 3-year-old child who part of a huge family in Peshawar, now Pakistan. Being the 5th child in the household, he always felt neglected and unloved. One day, when his mother was serving food, he happened to be dozing, and this caught his mother's attention. She noticed him and fondly addressed him. He was elated with the caring and love. This boy grew up to be Kishore Namit Kapoor. I began acting to receive my mother's attention. What are your future plans? I would want to make films and would like to start my second innings as an actor. I feel I have only 2 to 3 years left, and then I will be like the man in the book, the monk who sold his Ferrari and walk away to the Himalayas. But only to return working on roles. From the plinth of flawless acting is built the edifice called the character. In a story there are no big or small roles. It is the stature of the actors that make them so. The motto of the Moscow Theatre. Love the artist within you, not the you in the art. Stanislavski. Every form of art has its own medium of expression. A poet's medium is his words, while that of a musician is the sound, and a painter's, the colors. However, an actor's medium of expression is his own psychometrics, the ability to react creatively to people or events. Just as we form our opinions about people or events from the incidents that take place in their lives, the viewers form their opinion about the characters from the way they react to people or incidents on stage. Only a specific aim in life can make one swing into action. In the same way, it is the response of a person that gives us an insight into the feelings that person is going through. The responses that are made on the basis of the aims that one has in life are generally psychological. A person's physical response is the manifestation of his basic nature and his psychology. His state of mind can be read through his seemingly ordinary actions. Therefore, the creation of any character is not possible without creating a balanced physical and psychological behavior for that character. An actor has to bring his character to life before the audience, and he has precisely 3 hours to do so. The actor should, therefore, develop his character around the physical actions and gestures that his character would use in life. The followers of Stanislavski advocate that the actor first has to identify those physical actions that would suit his character and then perform those physical actions so convincingly that they also look convincing to the audience. The actor's success in the selection of whose physical actions would depend on whether or not he is able to make his character immortal through his performance of those physical actions. There is a definite objective behind every action performed on stage or screen. If that does not happen, the audience would lose interest in the story. Therefore, it is important for the actor to seek answers to the following questions before he actually thinks of doing a particular role, imagining that he is the character. Who am I? Where is this incident taking place? Who is at the receiving end of the entire episode? Why is the event taking place? When has it taken place? An actor should avoid rehearsing alone. It is important for him to get a reaction from someone, or he will find it difficult to act with his co-stars. An actor has to be aware of even the inanimate objects that are around while he is performing. While acting, an actor's contact with his co-stars gives him an opportunity to be indirectly in touch with his audience. If this contact is developed as a demand from the role or because of a special style, it would become more meaningful. Being in a crowd gives an actor a chance to meet and interact with different people. Stanislavski expects this interaction not only from the main characters but also from all other characters. While doing a small or insignificant scene, it is important for the actor to know his character well. Even those actors who do not have a single line to speak in the entire scheme of things can create unique and very significant characters of the story. The strong bonds and selfless relationship among the actors keep the viewer's attention focused on them. This facilitates and ensures viewer participation in the incidents that take place on the screen. In order to remain connected with his co-stars as well as the viewers all the time, all the actor's senses should be stimulated and his faculties active to the optimum. An actor's efficiency in displaying powerful emotions without being tense physically and mentally makes it possible for him to have total control over the character he is playing. Exercises. 1. Draw your co-star's attention to you. Let him be aware of your presence all the time. Surprise him. Fill him with wonder. Keep him entertained. Insult him. Embrace him. 2. Understand your co-star's personality fully. Understand how he or she conducts himself or herself. Understand what he or she is trying to convey to you. The main thought and the objective make the backbone of the story. They are its heartbeats. The character is only a unit. The storyline plays a significant role in the development of its main characters. As an actor, you should have the following information on the character you are playing. Physical. 1. Sex. 2. Age. 3. Height and weight. 4. Color of the skin, hair and eyes. 5. Other qualities, whether beautiful, overweight, disorganized. 6. Disposition, friendly or otherwise. 7. Drawbacks, physical disability, mental faculties, deformities, birthmark, diseases. 8. Heredity. Social. 1. Status, low, middle, high income group. 2. Business nature or business, timings, state of business, workers' union or lack of it, inclination. 3. Qualification, division, institution, mark secured, favorite subject, subject disliked. 4. Family background, parents, income group, marriage status, single, married, divorced, Respect for parents, mindset. 5. Religion. 6. Caste, nationality. 7. Social status. 8. Political rivalry. 9. Hobbies, books, music. Psychological. 1. Mental state. 2. Ambition. 3. Gestures. 4. Attitude. 5. Outlook, difficult, neutral, defeatist. 6. Shortcomings, eccentric, paranoiac, superstitious, reclusive. 7. Abilities, promising, talented. 8. Qualities, creative, decisive, earnest. The actor has to see in his mind's eye all the events that have taken place in the character's life, so that he can experience the feelings the character has undergone. Along with his rich personal experiences, imagination and his style and personality, the actor should make his character unfold while playing it before the audience. This is possible only when the actor can feel the emotions of the character and identity with his experiences in totality. The actor needs to treat his character as if it were a living human being. This will help him get into the character with an ease that even the author would find difficult to imagine. A character is built out of the actor's physical, psychological and spiritual elements. In other words, the character is the body, mind and soul of the actor. Doing a new role every time, the actor explores new possibilities with his personality. A successful actor lets his personality merge with that of his character so that a successful and living character is created. The manifestation of the inner world of the actor, the audience. The creation of a character with the elements of his personality transforms an actor into a new person. Every time he does it, he takes the risk of losing his own identity. Therefore, an actor has to be very careful. This is why the famous Russian writer and poet describes acting as a process of moving away from one's own self. A character becomes ready for portrayal only when the actor has an account of what his character is going to do and why, at every moment of its being portrayed. Only then the portrayal can leave a lasting impression on viewers. The actor's performance gives the character its concrete shape, and as a result, viewers become aware of the finer nuances and intricacies of presenting such a character. While doing a character, the actor has to work on the basic logics of presenting it. The actor's movements should justify the character's objectives and they should be original. There is something in every action that is common to all, but every person has a unique way of carrying it out. For example, everyone opens the window for fresh air, but the way they do it would be on the basis of how they are used to doing it. Playing a role convincingly is not easy. An actor has to study the story well and analyze it to pick up appropriate physical actions and reactions for performance. The entire exercise should aim at presenting the central theme and message of the story to the audience. If the actor names the actions that he is going to perform, it would make his task simpler and easier. Correct information on the actions and the sequence in which they are performed would lend a sense of continuity to the viewer. The actor's expertise would be evident in his ability to thread his selected physical actions on the strings of his talents. Another thing that has to be kept in mind is that the actor should be able to make out the difference between his own outlook on life and that of his character. The actor should be able to present himself from the perspective of his character, not from his own. Like the tempo and the beat, maintaining the continuity in the performance is essential to make the portrayal realistic and entertaining. Despite everything being in place, there can be moments that can surprise an actor. These moments are called moments of inspiration. One achieves this state when his conscious self has control over his subconscious state. Ideally, an actor should be in this inspired state before every shoot. This is the gist of the philosophy behind Stanislavski's method of acting. This method has proved to be most useful in this age, as time is considered the most valuable of all commodities. Dialogues are handed over to the actors on the sets just before the shoot. The actors are now used to give takes without any rehearsal or whatsoever. Mastering the method of Stanislavski holds great importance as it helps the actors to be business-oriented. It is wrong to think of acting as a mysterious art or an unreasonable logic, says Stanislavski. Any such thought can come in the way of progress, and thus it would be detrimental to the growth of the art and the actor. Bharat Muni and Stanislavski. The English word personality has its origin in the Greek word person, which means a mask. We put this mask on when we act. In other words, the actor casts aside his own personality or mask and puts on the mask of the character that he is playing. This sounds quite simple, doesn't it? The reality is far from it. It is not easy to take off the mask of your own personality and wear another. The most ancient book on acting available to us today is the Natya Shastra by Bharat Muni. He has written this book keeping in mind acting on stage. Stanislavski's book An Actor Prepares, being a work of the modern times, deals with acting as an art. Even though both these scholars talk about plays staged in the theater, Stanislavski's principles of teaching are totally different from the principles of Bharat Muni. This difference is mainly perhaps because of the different ages in which these writers lived. The era when the Natya Shastra was written, people did not have the freedom to express their feelings of love and desire, as these feelings were considered wrong and indecent by the prevailing social and religious norms. Under such circumstances, expressing romantic feelings on stage was considered as something shameful and blasphemous. Bharat Muni prohibits passionate sequences of embracing or kissing on stage. One could use dialogues, songs and music to lend life and create drama on stage. According to Bharat Muni, good acting is natural and realistic, performed with the greatest of simplicity. In acting, there is no action that is sudden or without a reason, says Bharat Muni. Every rasa is a vehicle of a state of mind, and an actor has to deal with it from the start to the finish. Ya yazya lila nyadagesha. Rang pranishta siavadhanyukta. Tamev kuryad vimukta se tvyo. Yavana ragat pratisadasyata. If one were to do away with the rigidity with which it deals with passion, Bharat Muni's principles would be readily acceptable by the followers of Stanislavski method of acting. Stanislavski also believes that the actor should modify his voice, his ability to speak, dance or sing to on his role, just as he would change his makeup and costume to meet the physical needs of his character. Stanislavski believes that stage is a medium capable of bringing about cultural and social change for progress. The actor should consider himself as a tool for this cause. Stanislavski's teachings totally agree with the ideologies of Bharat Muni in this respect. Stanislavski insists that an actor should also work on the success of his character just as he would for his own success as an actor. For this, an actor should be righteous, disciplined and organized. The similarity in their thoughts on developing a character is truly surprising. The Western theater placed a great deal of importance on the portrayal of characters of the story before the two world wars. Some of the actors came to be known only because of the powerful characters they, Stanislavski, portrayed. Although there is no special chapter on creating character sketches in Natya Shastra, Bharat Muni has dealt at length in the Natya Shastra with almost every aspect of human traits, both physical and psychological. Those were the days when theater was dominated by religious, historical and mythological themes. Therefore, the viewers were familiar with the topics and the characters. No actor had the liberty to add any new dimension to characters like Ram, Krishna or Ravan, as it was not possible to change the audience perception. Natya Shastra has categorized the 34 known roles into the following three groups. Supreme, Evil/Vile, Average. The roles in the supreme category were magnanimous, serious, courageous and selfless. The heroic roles of Ram, Krishna, Arjuna etc. fell into this category. The vile and evil roles comprise the negative characters such as those who are cruel, merciless, cheats and killers. Stanislavski and others use the term villain to describe such roles. Characters like Ravan, Kansas, Duryodhan and Dushasan belong to this category. The characters that belong to the average group are intelligent and friendly people known for their interpersonal skills. This group includes intellectuals like Vijay and Janak. Natya Shastra has similar categories for the female characters. Natya Shastra deals with the descriptions of the characters minutely, and it leaves no scope for a separate section on character sketches. Perspectives changed with time. Today there is no rule the hero of the play should necessarily be a character larger than could be an ordinary person. The actor is expected to sketch his character on the basis of the central idea or the main objective of the story. The Stanislavski's method clearly instructs the actor to identify the physical actions to suit the needs and perform them. Once an actor learns to do this convincingly, he can do any number of roles using this expertise. For any action that is taking place on screen or stage, there should be a definite reason behind it. This is essential to keep the audience interested. Stanislavski's teachings say that while developing a character, the actor has to put himself in the shoes of the character and view in his mind the incidents that have taken place in the character's life and feel the feelings that he, his character, would have experienced when they happened to him. In order to add greater depth to his portrayal, the actor should also use resources from his own personal experiences and qualities that make his own personality. The writer does not speak of the past and future of his characters. Hence, it is important that the actor looks at his character in totality, and this happens when he, the actor, has an account of the things that his character would do at every moment of the portrayal. One of the last things that Stanislavski emphasizes is the ability of the actor to look at the world from the point of view of his character, understand how it is different from the way he himself looks at it. He would only then would be able to react to it the way his character would. In the end, I would like to say that, despite the differences in their approach to acting due to the long gap between the periods they belonged to, Bharat Muni and Stanislavski were very much alike in many ways, for example, in the way they observed things so minutely, in the way they understood their characters and their mastery over the and developing their character. Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. Vast and subtle is Bharat Muni's edifice of acting. Dr. Braj Vallabh Mishra. The impact of materialism gave India its scientific temper, and this made English gain popularity in the societies there. The West has become more endearing to us than our own country now. Today we are not particularly fond of Sanskrit. We read English books with great interest. Reading English or learning English literature is not wrong. If one is truly an intellectual, he should read every kind of literature. It is in Sanskrit that we have more literature on the performing arts than in any other language in the world. Stanislavski of Russia has been popular for just 4 or 5 decades now. Every student who is doing a course in acting makes it a point to mention this name a few times. No one can dispute his contribution. His principle Feel and Express has helped the actors in improving their skills immensely. The interesting way in which he has written this simple principle of feeling the character first and then expressing these feelings through physical actions has been very effective, and it enchants everyone who reads it. Stanislavski's books are taught today all over the world. Feel and express, said Stanislavski. What is an actor expected to feel? He has to feel the character first and then portray it. Now the big question is how to decide what one has to feel about the character. The character does not have a definite shape. The character of Lord Ram has been performed by different artists. Premadeep has done it once, so have Sahu Modak, Mahi Paul, and Arun Govil. An actor who is about to do Ram's character may try to feel how Premadeep smiled as Cam, or feel how Sahu Modak had tried to walk like Ram, or deliver dialogues the way Arun Govil delivered them as Ram. We can also study the character of Ram as it is performed during Nam Leela. One may have seen Ram's character being performed by Y during one's childhood. One may also have seen Ram's character say with every new actor. How should one feel to feel like Ram? One has seen Ram in different forms. When it comes to feelings character like Ram, there are countless forms that one can choose from. There is no concrete shape available to the actor. So how does one decide what and how to feel like Ram? Similarly, how could you feel like a Rakshas when you have not seen one? Differences in the Indian and Western thinking. Staging plays is considered a means of entertainment in the Western world. Greeks, however, used it initially for religious reasons. Plays were staged to appease the Greek deity Dionysus. Aeschylus, Sophocles, Aristophanes and Menander are some of the examples of plays staged in ancient Greece. As theater moved from Greece to Spain to Rome and finally reached Italy, its objective changed to entertainment. This also influenced England to evolve this stagecraft. In the medieval period, Shakespeare transformed theater into a place of entertainment. Bharat Muni, however, has declared right in the beginning of his Natya Shastra that his book is the 5th of the Vedas. For Bharat Muni, theater is not for enjoyment, it is a religious sacrifice. He says that dance, Music and acting are the festivals of the eyes, and witnessing these festivals would bring progress to the world. Bharat emphasizes that there is no knowledge, no creation, no expertise, no craft or art that cannot be a part of the theater. Theater exhibits to the world everything that is beautiful. He has gone on to say that theater is nothing but a beautiful blend of action, sight and sound. As an actor performs, the viewer watches him, fully engrossed. He is all ears to listen to his voice. His entire consciousness concentrates on what is happening before his eyes. His gaze is steadfast and he does not move his glance away from what he is watching even for a fraction of a second. He is in a trance. It is this involvement that has prompted Bharat Muni to call theatre a feast for the eyes. The audience experiences a sense of joy to be a part of this lavish feast. Bharat has defined the term acting rather elaborately. He defines acting as the physical and psychological state of the character. He says that acting should also project the storyline, stage decorations, costumes, dance and music. He divides acting into 4 parts, namely, the physical, the verbal, the acceptable and the emotional. Through these he imparts knowledge. This is what has made him a teacher of great reverence. In order to be a complete actor, he says, one has to go through the different steps of acting. Bharat Muni's approach. In the entire Natya Shastra, Bharat Muni doesn't use the actor, instead he uses the term nat. The word nat describes a person who can fold and unfold his body into different shapes and postures. True nat is one who has the expertise of changing the shape of any part of his body into any form in a matter of seconds. Bharat's acting format. Bharat Muni begins by stating that the first part of acting deals with the free movement of the body. He describes it as physical action. The physical aspect of the body is of 2 types: the main and the auxiliaries. There are 6 auxiliaries under each type. The main body parts are the head, the chest, the lateral sides, the hands, the waist and the feet. He also mentions the different types of movements that each of these parts can make. Bharat claims that one can make 13 different types of movements with his head. He names each of them and mentions which part of the head can be used to show a particular posture and in which context. In the same way, he names the different movements performed by parts like the chest, the lateral sides, the waist, and the limbs and the rules of using them. For learning these movements, Bharat Muni has described 108 postures in the 4th chapter of the Natya Shastra. In addition, he also describes how to coordinate a number of different body parts to create 32 postures. By learning these postures, one can consolidate his body language. All these postures are as difficult as the yogic postures. After dealing with the main body parts and their movements and postures comprehensively, Bharat comes to the training and rules of the movements of auxiliaries such as the eyebrows, eyes, nose, cheeks, lips and the chin. For example, he describes how one can move his eyebrows in 6 different ways. As a student of Bharat Muni, one begins his training by learning to be an acrobat. Bharat begins by teaching the movements of the 6 body parts and their auxiliaries so that the actor can strike a pose whenever it is required. Bharat doesn't call his trainees actors. He calls them acrobats. A nat or an acrobat completes training in 108 movements and 32 coordinated movements before he is ready to do a character. Character. The word patra in Sanskrit means a vessel from which you can drink something. The patra remains empty when it is not in use. Anything you pour into this vessel, it readily accommodates it. Drinking salted buttermilk from it makes the vessel salty to taste. Sweet milk makes it sweet. Use the patra to drink the juice of fruits or alcohol. It with something bitter or sour. As long as it is filled with something, it remains as if it is made to contain only that. According to Bharat, an actor does a new role every day. He does the role of Ram or that of Krishna, Arjun or Ravan. The mind of the actor is like an empty vessel. You can fill it with the feelings of any character. After doing a role, as the actor gets off the stage, his mind becomes empty again, like the vessel that is emptied after use. In the next performance, say that requires doing the role of a sage, the actor fills his mind with the qualities of a sage. Stanislavski has not made it clear while putting forth his theory of feel. While doing the role of a doctor, how will the actor decide which doctor's feelings he should feel? Should he feel the feelings of the doctor who treated his grandmother? Or should it be the feelings of the doctor, who had cured his sister of her illness once as the doctor would have felt, say, when he was at a shop or in the dispensary or in the nursing home or in the government hospital? On whose feelings should the actor base his portrayal? Sentiment. Barrett uses the word sentiment in the place of feelings and says acting is a process that creates sentiments. He explains it, giving a beautiful analogy. Sentiment is a state, like the state that water acquires when a few drops of the rose essence are dropped into it. The essence would dissolve in water, perfuming it. The perfume has no shape, so you cannot separate it from water. The same is true about sentiments. According to Barrett, an actor should allow the character to have the same effect the rose essence has on water. The actor is the water and the character, the rose essence. Once the actor gets into the character, he should be transformed. This is what Stanislavski means by the word feel. However, Stanislavski does not say how one can reach the stage of expressing the feel that he has felt. Barrett has an answer for this, and he says that an actor should stop behaving like himself as he enters into the body of the character. It is like changing from one body to another. You must also discard the behavior of the body that you have just discarded. Permanent sentiments. The most important aspect of acting is the permanent sentiments created by the author of the story. Once these sentiments are written down, they remain there for all the time. Whatever Kalidass Shakespeare wrote has become immortal. If one tried to express only those sentiments that the author established through his writing, it would limit him as an actor. All heroes and anti-heroes have the same permanent sentiments as the treatment that an actor gives to a character that makes it different. Therefore, an actor must remain attached to the permanent sentiments created by the author. His ultimate objective is to entertain. Barrett coined a new word for anything that is entertaining. The word is rasa, rapture. Mind and entertainment are names of two intangible concepts. Barrett describes acting as a concrete art where sentiments are expressed through tangible actions. What you see when you watch an actor perform is the fully grown tree. The seed is what the author has created. Barrett has described every rapture, as a sentiment. According to Barrett, they are of 5 types. 1. Permanent sentiments. 2. Impressionistic sentiments. 3. Imitative sentiments. 4. Mutable sentiments. 5. Emotional sentiments. Ras is the permanent sentiments. Love, humor, chivalry, wrath, pathos, wonder, fear, abhorrence, pleasure, laughter, zeal, anger, grief, surprise, awe and disgust are the various types of permanent sentiments. These sentiments do not change with changing times. They remain dormant in every one, and when provoked they come to life. There is no one in the world that does not become angry at some time or the other. Similarly, there is always something for everyone to laugh at or cry for, just as there are things that can surprise people. Acting begins with these concrete sentiments, says Barrett Muni. Stanislavski's philosophy of feel the character is incomplete. A character has no definite standard. Human behavior is a topic of study in social sciences. It is possible to derive happiness from watching the sentiments in acting. Imitative sentiments. Next, Barrett recounts the imitative sentiments. After internalizing the permanent sentiments, an actor should try to give them concrete expression through postures that depict these expressions. Stanislavski's teachings say that, by imitating the character's physical actions, the actor completes expressing the feelings of the character, whereas Barrett Muni goes a step beyond imitative sentiments, and talks about the auxiliary sentiments etheric essential to express the inner feelings while acting. The auxiliary sentiments are of 33 types. There are 33 ways in which an actor can reflect his inner feeling on his face. Barrett names them as follows. 1. Detachment. 2. Remorse. 3. Apprehension. 4. Envy. 5. Intoxication. 6. Fatigue. 7. Indolence. 8. Depression. 9. Anxiety. 10. Delusion. 11. recollection. 12. Contentment. 13. Bashfulness. 14. Agility. 15. Joy. 16. Agitation. 17. Stupor. 18. Arrogance. 19. Dejection. 20. Eagerness. 21. Slumber. 22. Epilepsy. 23. Dream. 24. Awakening. 25. Indignation. 26. Dissimulation. 27. Violence. 28. Resolution. 29. Disorder. 30. Insanity. 31. Death. 32. Terror. 33. Deliberation. In his Natya Shastra, Bharat makes his student learn how to use their main and auxiliary body movements. After that he teaches the 8 rasas or permanent sentiments and the 33 auxiliary sentiments that the face can show. Any actor who has a mastery over depicting these expressions can easily do any role won him. Bharat trains his actors both from within and without. Instead of telling his students about the characters, he teaches them the emotions and their manifestation, so that the actor can entice audience with his powerful expressions. Bharat's journey into the world of acting begins from permanent sentiments, and moves on the impressionistic to imitative, to muted to emotional sentiments, and finally ends in the simulations of the finer emotions depicted by the rasas. According to Bharat, in every human being there are 3 constituents of life that produce worldly desires and passions. He calls them as Sat, Tam and Raj. Sat stands for the essence of human life, Tam, the darker side, and Raj, the unholy desires and passions. An active state of Tam drives one to fly into a rage, while when one looks for material or sensual gratification, the driving force active in him is Raj. Rajagun is responsible for the 7 destructive desires, namely, envy, anger, happiness, sorrow, hatred, resentment, and ego. Sat is a state which envelops one when one is in his normal state, and in this state one is at peace with his own self and the world around him. Acting is nothing but a controlled display of emotions. The actor has to go deep within himself to search for emotions that are dormant in him. The mind is the essence of life, says Bharat. Acting awakens the mind where the feelings and emotions originate. Bharat is of the opinion that the mind only understands the language of emotions. The mind has no ears or eyes, it cannot hear or see anything. Here is an example to illustrate it. Watch a film in Japanese. You do not understand Japanese, but you can still follow the film for emotions. Contexts are universal and you can easily make out who is the villain and how he is terrorizing the heroine. The feelings and emotions displayed by the actors reach the viewer with great simplicity. The viewer on his part identifies himself with the emotions of the characters and enjoys the feelings experienced by them vicariously. This gives the viewer immense satisfaction. During this entire procedure, the feelings emoted by the actor stop being typical to the character, they are transmitted to the viewer and become his own. In other words, the permanent sentiments created by the author transform into the impressionist sentiments which the actor imitates. These imitative sentiments through physical actions find their way to the hearts of the viewer. There in his heart they awaken the viewer's dormant feelings which find their identity in the feelings emoted by the actor, and thus they become a part of the psyche of the viewer. A powerful verbal delivery can even move the blind. Despite not being able to see the acting, the feelings with which the lines are delivered touch the heart. This can make an emotional impact on the viewer, who feels the joy of being a part of the happenings on the screen. According to Bharat, exchange of emotions is a form of the searching for a character, and making him real through his writing is the duty of the writer, says Bharat Muni. The actor has nothing to do with it. In the Indian method of acting, the training provided in physical, verbal, mutable and emotional acting makes the body, and the mind, of the actor so supple that he is able to portray any character in a matter of a few moments. In the Indian method of teaching acting, Emphasis is on the development of the skills required to grasp the character and understand his emotions so that executing them becomes easy. A look at the work of Bharat Muni will give one the impression that he has been the greatest psychologist the world has ever known. Even the analysts from the West are not able to actually pinpoint the time when psychology has come to exist and how and when emotions began to develop in man. However, Bharat has given the time and how and when the feelings and sentiments evolved. He has documented them in the 6th chapter in his book Natya Shastra. Bharat could unravel the most mysterious secrets behind the working of the human mind. He has divided them into 8 categories of emotions of acting. It requires great skill to master them and they are listed below. Only an efficient actor can express these states at will. 1. Feelings of astonishment or shock. 2. The ability to perspire. 3. Experience thrill. 4. Choking voice. 5. The ability to shiver or tremble. 6. Changing facial color. 7. Breaking into tears. 8. Fainting. Following the rules outlined by this great teacher of acting, one can efficiently portray any emotion at any time with total ease. Film and stage. About 100 years ago, when there were no motion films, the only form of entertainment available to people was the theatre. India has produced great playwrights like Kalidas and Buzz. In fact, Kalidas' Abhijan Shakuntalam is staged even today. What is interesting about these plays is that, despite having been written thousands of years ago, they conform to the rules and the norms set by the modern-day playwrights. The only country, apart from India, which had theatres and stage plays, was Greece. The theatres there staged Greek tragedies that are famous the world over. In contrast, the plays in Sanskrit had happy endings as they followed the principle of Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Sanskrit theatre influenced the people of India from different regions and thus began the tradition of staging plays in different languages. It is indeed heartening to see that even today there is no dearth of people who go to watch plays. Motion picture is a new medium that has revolutionized the very concept of entertainment in the world. In India, the era of films saw its beginning with Satyavati Harishchandra that was made in 1913. Camera technology has brought the characters very close to the viewer. Unlike on stage, they can now see their stars from close quarters. While on stage, since the actors were so far away from the viewers, they had to struggle to make themselves heard. Today the acoustics and technologies are so developed that while watching a film even whispers reach the audience clearly. One can even hear the actor breathing. This has brought about a great change in the style of dialogue delivery today. Besides dialogue delivery, there is a great difference in the body language the actors use on stage and in films. The greater distance between the characters and the viewers and the inadequate lighting arrangement demand that actors be more expansive in their body language when they are on stage. Watch the documentary made on Hitler. Notice how the actor has used his body to bring the expected movements and effects required to play the role of Hitler so convincingly. In order to know what we mean by theatrical effects, watch the ex-Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He uses his body language quite expansively for effect. Besides body language, there is a lot of difference in the facial expressions that actors use on stage and in films. Since the camera takes one closer to the audience, one has to be careful with his facial expressions while performing on screen. Even a slight inappropriateness in the facial expression on screen can mar the quality of a performance. To understand this implication, the example of Jaya Bachchan would be of great help. Or while playing a tragic role, she would contort her facial muscles until tears start rolling down her cheeks. On camera, what one requires is subtle expression which will not work on stage most of the time. Therefore, the cardinal rule is that while acting on screen, the closer you are to the camera, the more controlled should your expressions be. Another thing that one must remember while acting in a movie is that the scenes are not shot in sequence. Therefore, one should be very careful about the emotional expressions that one chooses. They should be in sync with the scene that you did for a scene that would precede the scene you are doing now. For example, the shooting for your death scene is being done now and you will be doing the scene of your wedding, say, after a month now. This also means that you have to closely follow the screenplay to maintain the continuity. If you are very expansive in a close-up, you would end up looking strange because in such shots your entire body will not be seen on the screen. Camera close-ups do not give you any option to be loud or expansive in your expression. Once you know the difference in the techniques of acting on screen and on stage, it would not be difficult for you to handle your character whether you are on stage or screen. Lawrence Nasiruddin Shah, Om Puri and Paresh Rawal are some of the actors that do a great job both on screen and on stage. TV and the world of advertisement. Entertainment on the small screen. After leaving its mark on stage and in films, now entertainment has made its way onto the small screen. There was a time when we had only Doordarshan on TV and that too in black and white. But today all that has changed. Now hundreds of satellite channels have barged into our bedrooms too. Black and white has become a thing of the past. Everything is now in color. To lure the audience today, producers leave no stone unturned in putting together new and innovative programs on TV channels. Soaps, chat shows, reality shows, they sell everything in the name of entertainment. Gone are the days when TV was nicknamed the idiot box. Not anymore with shows like Amitabh Bachchan's Kaun Banega Kharotpati, game shows, and musical talent hunts. TV is no more a second fiddle to films in the business of entertainment. It has created a new place in the lives of people. There is still some difference when it comes to working for TV, although both films and channels follow the same techniques of shooting. One of the major differences is that while shooting for TV, you don't shoot long shots. TV is a medium of close-ups. Therefore, if you are a TV star, you should be very careful about your face. In long or mid shots, a slight problem in the way you look would not matter much. But shooting for TV is a totally different story. Another major difference in shooting for TV shows is that there are no separate close-ups for dialogues. Everything is taken during the same shot. This means that you cannot afford to be forgetful while you deliver your lines, nor should your concentration waver. This can get you into real trouble. Serials are time-bound. You cannot be slack in your work. The serials telecast daily can be truly burdensome to shoot for. A good memory can be of great help if you are a TV star. People generally tend to call their memory bad or good, which is not. You can have a trained or an untrained memory. Regular practice can improve one's memory. Looking for pictures behind words is a good way to train memory, as our memory is photographic. Our creative mind can remember the pictures behind the words easily. Therefore, there is no need to be afraid of the length of your lines. You can convert the words into pictures and remember them in order to remember the words. Improve your memory and you are welcome as a TV star anytime. In addition to doing TV and films, what one can do for a career is sell one's voice. It is a lucrative business. There is great demand for a good voice for voiceovers, especially in advertising. People are generally attracted to modeling because it is a highly paid career. There is also name and fame in modeling. A model doesn't need to be an actor, but it is important to own an impressive personality and good looks. Yogic exercises can help one build an ideal body. In fact, you can follow the exercises given in this book. And if you find being in a gym more convenient for a workout, go right ahead. If you have a beautiful body and an attractive face, you can set your sights on a career on a glittering ramp. A number of names flash in the mind when you think of the famous models that India has seen. Some of them are film stars like Aishwarya Rai, John Abraham, Bipasha Basu, Priyanka Chopra, and Juhi Chawla. Powerful inspirations. Strengthen the willpower. The mind, desires and emotions are the three dimensions of psychology. An actor depends on these dimensions to develop his character. It is the mind that helps an actor to use his technique as an actor intelligently. He uses his mind to understand his character and then choose appropriate words and physical actions like the manner of speaking or walking. To be a powerful actor, it is important to be supremely self-confident. It is his willpower that enables him to focus on so many different things at the same time, to use his creativity in accomplishing his various objectives and be efficient in doing things that he is expected to do. If an actor wants to make his character come alive, he needs to activate himself emotionally. For this he should have total control over his mind and emotions. This can happen only if he has the willpower to do it. Body Language and Acting. By Dr. Abhijit Das. Body language is a term used for communication using the body as opposed to using words. It is that part of paralanguage which is nonverbal in origin. This includes the subtlest of movements that many people are not aware of, including winking and the slight movement of the eyebrows. In addition, body language can also incorporate the use of facial expressions, hand gestures and postures. Although they are generally not aware of it, people send and receive nonverbal signals all the time. These signals may indicate what they are truly feeling. Women in general are far more aware of nonverbal gestures than men. Therefore, women are more intuitive. They tend to read much more between the lines, and so their gut feeling is usually more correct than that of their male counterparts. Albert Mehrabian, Professor Emeritus of Psychology at UCLA, is very well known for his research on the relative importance of verbal and nonverbal messages. His findings on inconsistent messages of feelings and attitudes have been quoted in human communication seminars worldwide, and have also become known as the 7%, 38%, 55% rule. As a result of his studies in human communication, he comes to two conclusions. First, that there are three specific elements in face-to-face communication. 1. The actual words spoken. 7%, 2. Tone of the voice. 38%, 3. Body language. 55%. The second conclusion was that the nonverbal elements are particularly important for communicating feelings and attitude, especially when they are incongruent. If words and body language disagree, one tends to believe the body language. Therefore, one needs to have a lot of experience in the study of human behavior and body language before jumping to conclusions. For effective and meaningful communication about emotions, these three parts of the message need to support each other. They have to be congruent. In case of any incongruence, the receiver of the message might be irritated by two messages coming from two different channels, giving cues in two different directions. It is certainly not true that nonverbal elements in all senses convey the bulk of the message, though this is how his conclusions are frequently quoted. Unless a communicator is talking about feelings or attitudes, these equations are not applicable in the same ratio. It is also to be noted that people from different cultures may differ in their body language. The study of these cultural differences is very important. Acting defined, acting is responding to stimuli and imaginary circumstances in an imaginative, dynamic manner that is stylistically true to time and place so as to communicate ideas and emotions to an audience. Acting in body language, actors are ultimately trying to convey their characters' feelings and attitude through the words and body language skills. Therefore, for actors, body language study becomes extremely important. Generally, good actors try to bring out the subtleties of the character they are playing. Therefore, to get under the skin of the character, one needs to look into every aspect of his or her body language. Cinema is a visual art form. The audience is not only listening but also seeing the actors on screen. We need to realize that 80% of information input occurs through our visual channels, the eyes. Therefore, in any given instant, the audience is actually seeing much more than hearing. The more subtle the body language, the more refined the acting. Though dialogue adds to the information, it is what the actor does on screen that says things. Adding behavior adds much more than dialogue. Cinema, after all, is not about dialogue, it is about body language, conflict and playing each moment. For an actor, body language is a two-part project. Body language must be part of acting, and any good acting class will include some degree of observation and creation of body language. But part of this you can do for yourself. Observe. Watch people and yourself. Start observation at a distance first, observe people who are not directly communicating with you. Then slowly start observing people who are actively communicating with you. This is slightly difficult initially since you also need to be focused on your point of discussion. Once you have mastered that, start observing yourself. Study how they, and you, react physically to different emotions. Watch what they do when they are happy, scared, sad, angry, frustrated, when they feel comfortable and loved and loving, when they feel alienated and distant. Watch how they hold and move their bodies, how they use space. Then get yourself good acting class and a coach or teacher who can help you understand what these things mean and how to use them. The 3 C's. Whenever we need to observe the body language in people, we must look for the 3 C's: context, congruency and cluster. In any communication context, is of prime importance. Often by simply keeping our focus on the context of the whole situation, we can judge exactly what the other person really wants to say. Congruency is the match between the verbal and nonverbal responses as well as body cues in different areas. Cluster gestures usually occur simultaneously, and one such example is the shoulder shrug, usually to depict something like "I didn't do it." If you notice carefully, the cluster of gestures is composed of the open palm, the shoulder shrug and the raised eyebrow. The sequence of movements as the conversation progresses is also part of the cluster of progressive body language cues. Some body language cues. Eyes are the mirrors of your mind. They are the most expressive organs and play an enormous part in body language. We must always maintain good eye contact whilst speaking to people. This shows respect and interest in what they have to say. There are wide cultural differences, and in certain countries like the UK, people tend to keep eye contact slightly less. This is also a good habit, as people do not like being stared at. By doing this, you won't make other people feel self-conscious. Instead, it will give them a feeling of comfort and genuine warmth in your company. Any more eye contact than this and you could be too intense, any less and you give off a signal that you lack interest in them or their conversation. Posture is the next thing to master. Confidence is all to do with your posture. An erect posture is extremely important and exudes confidence. Once you get your posture right, you'll automatically start feeling better. On the other hand, if you are depressed, chances are you'll be slouched over with your shoulders drooping and turned inward. This collapses the chest and inhibits good breathing, which in turn can make you feel nervous or uncomfortable. Therefore, if you are playing a character that lacks confidence, then the latter position is the one to take. This will also make your character believable. Head position. The head can be kept straight up, looking down, or tilted to either side. A straight head implies confidence. Raised head with the eyes looking down often conveys the sign of arrogance. Conversely, when you want to be friendly and in the listening, receptive mode, tilt your head just a little to one side or other. You can shift the tilt from left to right at different points in conversation. A person who tilts his head to the left side looks more attractive and ingenuous. Arms. If the arms are together either in front or behind the body, it gives the body a very closed appearance. This is usually done when the person is either uncomfortable in the situation or is not telling the entire story. Therefore, arms give away clues as to how open and receptive we are to everyone we meet and interact with. This shows you are not scared to take on whatever comes your way. In general terms, the more visual you are as a person, the more you tend to move your arms. Auditory and kinesthetic people usually move their arms much less in the course of conversation. When you want to come across in the best possible light, crossing your arms is not a good idea. Legs. Your feet would usually point towards your focus of attention or interest. They also tend to move around a lot more than normal when you are nervous, stressed, or being deceptive. Be careful too in the way you cross your legs. Do you cross them at the knees, ankles, or do you bring your leg up to rest on the knee of the other leg? This is more a question of comfort than anything else. Just be aware that the last position mentioned is known as the American figure of four and is generally perceived as the most defensive leg cross, especially if it happens as someone tells you something that might be of a slightly dubious nature, or moments after. Weight on the leading leg often shows an active state of the body. The angle of the body in relation to others gives an indication of our attitudes and feelings towards them. We tend to lean towards people we like. Usually the lean takes precedence over other body gestures when it comes to attraction. We angle toward people we find attractive, friendly and interesting, and angle ourselves away from those we do not. Hand gestures are so numerous. Only a few gestures are being incorporated here to show the variety that is really present. Showing an open palm is a sign of honesty. Palm down gestures are generally seen as dominant, emphasizing and possibly aggressive, especially when there is no movement or bending between the wrist and the forearm. On the other hand, the palm up gesture is a submissive gesture and is used in a lot of interpersonal communication. This palm up, palm down is very important when it comes to shaking hands, and where appropriate we suggest you always offer a handshake upright and vertical, which should convey equality. Distance from others is crucial if you want to give off the right S. The entire science of space between people is known as proxemics. The four main zones are dash, intimate, personal, social, public. Stand too close and you'll be marked as pushy or in your face. This is how the expression "he is invading my private space" has come to the English language. Stand or sit too far away and you'll be keeping your distance or standoffish. Neither is what we want, so observe if in a group situation how close all the other people are to each other. If on the other hand the person you are communicating with moves away as you move forward, keep your distance. People who are used to a city life are usually more comfortable with standing or conversing at a much more close range, unlike country folk who are more comfortable at a distance. Conclusion. Actors are trying to portray the innermost feelings and attitudes of the characters that they are playing. Therefore it is extremely important to learn body language, since most feelings and attitudes are not spoken. They are a subconscious movement that occurs when those inner feelings are touched. Energy and volume. In the dead of the night, the police are chasing a thief. Running down the narrow lanes, the thief tries to escape. Suddenly he finds himself before a friend's house. He knocks at the door and says, "This is me. Open the door quickly." There is no response. "The police are after me. Hurry now." He tries again. The door doesn't open and the thief makes yet another attempt. The thief is now truly scared. He is aware that the police are closing in on him. In that very moment, his friend peeps out of the window as if to see what is happening. Spotting his friend, the thief shouts, "What are you looking at? Do you want me to be killed? Open the door now, or the police will take me away." The thief is in panic. He is short of breath. The police are after him. He wants to take refuge at his friend's place, but it looks like his friend is in a deep sleep. What you have to really concentrate on now is the energy in the thief's voice. He cannot shout, for the police can hear him. It is night and he doesn't want to wake up the neighbors. So he makes his voice more energetic and forceful. His voice is not loud. It is natural for the thief not to sound like one who is visiting a friend. A friend will be more audible, but there will not be any force in his voice. He doesn't need to do it. Similarly, when a husband comes home after a day at the office, he would also speak in a normal voice. If he is not heard, he would try calling out again, maybe a little louder so that he could be heard from within. It is generally seen that when an actor is asked to speak with force, he either tries to increase the volume of his voice or make his physical actions louder. What one actually means by energy here is the force of the voice. A forceful voice will display the strength that a girl would use when she tells her parents that she wants to marry someone of her choice. She knows that her parents have arranged a match for her. After a lot of confrontation, the girl says, "I have told you that I will marry whomsoever I like. I will not change my mind even if I have to leave the house." The boy also says the same thing to his family, in a forceful voice, as he doesn't want his neighbors to hear him. His energetic voice displays the strength of his decision. The force of the energy in the voice is much greater than the force of its volume. A weak voice can be made stronger with the help of a sound system. It is also possible to carry the sound of your breath to the audience. But if you cannot use the power of your voice, no technology can be of any help. You yourself have to lend energy to your voice. However, As an actor, you will be happy to know that there is no need for you to use an energetic voice all the time. You just have to adjust the energy level of your voice on the basis of the psychological state of the character in a particular scene. New opportunities. People have been seized by the magic called films. Black and white days are out. The color of the digital cinema has captivated all. Computer technology has widened film and TV viewership extensively. Entertainment channels are on the increase. The number of films produced has also shown a quantum jump in the last few years, and so the demand for trained actors has also grown considerably. On the one hand, new vistas are opening up for the established actors, while on the other, there are more and more opportunities for newer entrants. Researchers are of the opinion that on an average we make at least 1,000 films in a year. This includes regional films. Besides, there are innumerable channels that telecast ongoing serials that last for years. With the boom in the entertainment industry, the demand for actors today is greater than it has been at any time in history. If you are talented, no one can stop you. This should not give you the impression that all those thousands that are there in the field are established actors. This can be explained with the help of an example. No one can deny that swimming is an activity. Those who swim in streams and ponds cannot be Olympic swimmers. It needs training and technical knowledge to be a champion. The same is true with actors. They need to be trained technically and possess a high level of professionalism to be successful actors. One can take the training from an acting guru or an expert and acquire the technical skills necessary to make acting a profession. Take the examples of a doctor, engineer, professor, pilot, or a driver. Unless they are trained, no one will hire them. In the same way, directors and producers will not have any faith in your capabilities if you are not trained as an actor. No one would risk his name or money on an untrained actor. An actor should evaluate every aspect of his personality rather critically. He should learn the skills necessary for overcoming his weaknesses and building on his strengths. In short, one should do everything possible to improve and enhance one's skills and looks to be a successful actor. Having finished this book, you can start your training now. Follow the exercises in this book religiously. Repeated practice will help you pick up the finer nuances of this art. Treat your body as an instrument and play it so that you generate that melody so sweet called acting. You are able to do this only when you can shift the essence of acting from your physical entity to the entity within. This will change the actor in you into the character. Behind every word, there is a picture. It is the gist of the book. As you look at these pictures creatively, you evolve as an actor, and so does your ability to modulate your voice so that it suits the needs of the character. Your thoughts and feelings are transformed, and thus on the skeleton of the character you wrap your body, and your character is ready to live in the minds of the people. Acting is portraying a character. An actor should have the ability to understand and concentrate creativity. He needs to keep his body healthy and fit and also attractive by strictly following an exercise regime that is not too rigorous. Your self-esteem will be put to the test all the time, so do not let it waver. Knowing your abilities, you have decided to be an actor, so don't give up on it ever. Constant practice and dedication has led one to many a marvel. Only your will to make things happen can contribute to extraordinary achievements. Those pushed aside as useless have shown the world how wrong it has been to underrate them. Never ever look back, that is if you want to be a winner. Be ready to face challenges and your journey will be smooth. Your success as an actor depends on how hard you work towards achieving your goals. In acting, as in any walk of life, it is hard work that pays. Practice. Monologue. I used to go there quite a bit. Oh, years ago now. But I stopped. I used to like that place. Spent quite a bit of time there. That was before I went away. Just before. I think that place had a lot to do with it. They were all a good bit older than me. But they always used to listen. I thought they understood what I said. I mean, I used to talk to them. I talked too much. That was my mistake. The same in the factory. Standing there, or in the breaks, I used to talk about things. And these men, they used to listen, whenever I had anything to say. It was all right. The trouble was, I used to have some kind of hallucinations. They weren't hallucinations, I used to some get the feeling I could see things very clearly. Everything was so clear. Everything used to get very quiet. All this quiet and this clear sight. It was. But maybe I was wrong. Anyway, anything about it. And some kind of lie must have got around. And this lie went round. I thought people started being funny. In that cafe. The factory. I couldn't understand it. Then one day they took me to a hospital, right outside it. A hospital, right outside London. They got me there. I didn't want to go. Anyway. I tried to get out, quite a few times. But it wasn't very easy. They asked me questions, in there. Got me in and asked me questions. Well, I told them what they wanted to know. What my thoughts were. Then one day. This man. Doctor, I suppose. The head one. He was quite a man of distinction. Although I wasn't so sure about that. He called me in. He said. He told me I had something. He said they'd concluded their examination. That's what he said. And he showed me a pile of papers and he said that I'd got something. Some complaint. He said. He just said that, you see. You've got this thing. That's in your interest. There's only one course we can take. He said. But I can't. Going to do something to your brain. He said. If we don't, you'll be in here for the rest of your life, but if we do, you stand a chance. You can go out, he said, and live like the others. What do you want to do to my brain? I said to him. But he just repeated what he'd said. Well, I wasn't a fool. I knew I was a minor. I knew he couldn't do anything to me without getting permission. I knew he had to get permission from my mother. So I wrote to her and told her what they were trying to do. But she signed their form, you see, giving them permission. I know that because he showed me her signature when brought it up. Well, that night I tried to escape. That night, I spent 5 hours sawing at one of the bars on the window in this ward. Right through the dark. They used to come round with these. I don't know that they were. They looked like big pincers, with wires on. The wires were attached to a little machine. It was electric. They used to hold the man down, and this chief. The chief doctor, used to fit the pincers, something like earphones, he used to fit them on either side of the man's skull. There was a man holding the machine, you see, and he'd turn it on, and the chief would just press these pincers on either side of the skull and keep them there. Then he'd take them off. They'd cover the man up. And they wouldn't touch him again until later on. Some used to put up a fight, but most of them didn't. They just lay there. Well, they were coming round to me, and the night they came I got up and stood against the wall. They told me to get on the bed. I knew they had to get me on the bed, and I knew they had to get me on the bed because if they did it while I was younger then, I was much stronger than I am now. I was quite strong then. I laid one of them out and I had another one round the throat. And then suddenly this chief had these pincers on my skull and I knew he wasn't supposed to do it while I was standing up. That's why anyway, he did it. So I did get out. I got out of the place. But I couldn't walk very well. I couldn't think at all. I couldn't think at all. I couldn't get my thoughts together. I could never quite get it together. They couldn't keep upright. And I had these headaches. I used to sit in my room. That was when I lived with my mother. And my brother. He was younger than me. And I laid everything out in order, in my room, all the things I knew were mine, but I didn't die. The thing is, I should have been dead. I should have died. Anyway, I feel much better now. But I don't talk to people now. I steer clear of places like that cafe. I never go into them now. I don't talk to anyone like that. I've often thought of going back and trying to find the man who did that to me. But I want to do something first. I want to build that shed out in the garden. This monologue is from Harold Pinter's play The Caretaker. Film vocabulary. Accelerated motion, an effect obtained by running the camera more slowly than usual. When the resulting film is projected at normal speed, the movements seem faster because they occupy fewer themes than would normally be the case. The opposite of slow motion. Answer print, the first complete combined print supplied by the laboratory, usually with a very careful attempt to grade color on contrast. Arc, a high-powered lamp used in projectors and studio lighting, its illumination consisting of an electrical discharge between two carbon rods. Art director, production designer, technician responsible for designing sets, sometimes costumes and graphics as well. Production designer is a more pretentious way of saying much the same thing. Assistant director, more properly assistant to the director, concerned with details of administration rather than creation. Associate producer, usually the actual producer for supervision of the film, the title of executive producer having been taken by the head of the studio. Backlighting, when light is thrown from behind the person or item, it is called backlighting. Back projection, a method of producing location sequences in the studio. The players act in front of a translucent screen on which the scenic background is projected. Background, what is shown in terms of the environment, the surroundings etc. which give momentum to the moods and emotions of the actors. Camera, the cine camera is different from the general camera. It is huge and heavy. The operator of this camera is the cameraman. Sometimes more than one camera is used on a set. Camera angle, the important function of creation of a film is achieved by camera technique. The camera is placed at different places and in different positions, thereby enhancing the quality of the photography. This is called the camera angle. Cast, the actors in a movie. Casting, to the old Hollywood, casting usually meant type, casting, or bending the character to suit the star. Character actor, usually thought of as one who does not play romantic leads. Cinematographer, lighting cameraman or chief photographer. Clapper board, a wooden board on which is written the film's name, producer's name. Production number, and the serial number of every shot and scene. Before the filming of each shot, this is brought in front of the camera and the person who claps the board reads out all that is written on the board. Thus the picturization and sound recording of this event is done simultaneously. This procedure helps during editing, especially for putting all the shots in serial order. Cliffhanger, trade name for a serial, especially an episode ending in an unresolved situation which keeps one in suspense till next time. Close shot, here the camera is brought very close to the body of the artiste and is focused on the face, the eyes, nose, lips, teeth etc. Close-up, generally applied to a head and shoulders shot of a person or any close shot of an object. The first close-up is said to be that of Fred Ott sneezing in an Edison experimental film of 1900, see long shot. Combined point, one on which both sound and picture, always produced separately, have been married, i.e., a standard print is shown in cinemas. See also, double-headed print. Continuity, the development of cinematic narrative from the beginning to the end of a film. If continuity is good, the audience will be carried smoothly from one scene to another without disturbing breaks or lapses of detail. Crane shot, a high-angle shot in which the camera travels up, down or laterally while mounted on a traveling crane. Cut, when a director finishes one shot, he says cut, also indicating that the next shot will take place soon after. Sometimes even to stop a shot in between or to reshoot, the director uses this word as an indicative action. Cutting copy, the first print assembled from the rushes. When this is deemed satisfactory, the negative will be cut to match it, and release prints made. Deep focus, dramatic camera technique which brings both foreground and background objects into equal focus and clarity, notably used in Citizen Kane and Hamlet. Dialogues, the words of the story which are spoken by the artistes. Director, normally the most influential creator of a film, who may not only shoot scenes on the studio floor but also supervise script casting, editing, etc., according to his standing. In more routine films these functions are separately controlled. Dissolve, the frame of the shot slowly merging into darkness and leading into the next shot and going on in sequence. This is also called mixing. Distributor, or renter, a company which, for a percentage of the profits or a flat fee, undertakes to rent a film to exhibitors on behalf of the producing company. Originally, major producers like MGM, Warner and Paramount distributed their own films exclusively, but with the rise of independent producers the situation has become much more fluid, with distributors bidding for the films they consider most likely to succeed at the box office and tying up successful producers to long-term contracts. Dolby system, a method of improving the sound quality of optical sound tracks by reducing background noise and hiss, first used for tape recordings. The Dolby stereo system creates 4 sound tracks. Dolly, a trolley on which a camera unit can be soundlessly moved about during shooting, can usually be mounted on rails. A crab dolly will move in any direction. Double exposure, this occurs when 2 or more images are recorded on the same piece of film. Used for trick shots when 2 characters played by the same actor have to meet, also for dissolves, dream sequences, etc. DTS stands for Digital Theater Systems, a new sound recording and playback system launched by Universal Pictures and used first for Jurassic Park in 1993. The sound is stored on a compact disc which is synchronized with the film. Dubbing has several shades of meaning within the general one of adding sound, effects, music, song, dialogue, to pictures already shot. It can mean re-recording, or replacing original language dialogue by a translation, or having someone else provide top notes for a star who can't sing. Editing, after the film is made, the sequencing of the various shots and relating each of them to the other and numbering them serially is called editing. Editor, technician who assembles final print of film from various scenes and tracks available, works closely under director's control except in routine pictures. Conventional editing involved cutting scenes of the film in sequence to produce first a rough cut, and then the final result. Technical developments have led to the use of digital or non-linear editing with computer-based systems such as the Avid Media Composer and Lightworks. Establishing shot, opening shot of sequence, showing location of scene or juxtaposition of characters in action to follow. Fade in, the technique of bringing a picture out of darkness into light but in a very gentle manner, step by step. The beginning of a shot. Feature film, normally accepted to mean a fictional entertainment film of more than 3,000 feet in length, approximately 34 minutes. Anything less than this is technically a short. NB, in journalism and feature usually means a non-fiction article or documentary. Flashback, all past events which are shown through the dreams of the character or through his memory are called flashback. Floor, it is a kind of stage surrounded by high walls on all 4 sides. The inside walls are soundproof. The roof is made of asbestos or tin. At the corners of the walls thick wooden planks are fixed. On these wooden planks for purposes of lighting, big arc lamps are fitted which throw light downwards. The sets are placed inside. A microphone is placed there which is linked to the recording room. This is the place where indoor shooting is conducted. Once the doors of the studio are shut, then no sound can intrude from outside. Floor effects is the term used to describe special effects that occur live, in camera, during filming rather than being added later. It covers such effects as explosions, bullet impacts, and many types of mechanical effects. Footage, length of a film expressed in feet. Frame, a single picture on a strip of film. At normal sound projection speed, 24 frames are shown each second. Framing, the placing of the camera in position as per the requirements, so that the film remains within the boundary of the frame. Freeze frame, a printing device whereby the action appears to freeze into a still, this being accomplished by printing one frame many times. Full shot, the complete description of an object, palace, idol, market or crowd, congregation etc. HDTV, high definition television, the latest development in television technology, which provides a better picture by increasing the resolution to 1125 lines and having a screen with a similar ratio to the cinema. High shot, the capturing of an article or scene from an overhead position. Jump cutting, moving abruptly from one scene to another to make a dramatic point, e.g., from cause to effect. Key light, a light which is focused either on a particular object or a particular person. Light, Small, large and powerful arc lights, which are placed on stands, are used for lighting purposes. Baby lamps are smaller lamps. As per the demands of the situation, these arc lights are also placed on the planks placed above the floor from where they throw light downwards. Location: any place outside the studio like a mountainous area, snow-capped area, desert or any place of natural beauty where shooting can take place is called location. Long shot: the total description and continuity of an object or particular person. Low shot: showing an article or a scene from below, or from a lower position. Medium shot, or close-up: this is quite the opposite of the long shot. Here you normally see small places and generally the pictures are taken above the knee. Montage: a specific and special type of editing where several dissolves etc. are done very quickly in sequence so that it will have the desired effect like the passage of time or moving from one place to another place. Moving shot: shots taken from a moving motor vehicle, aeroplane, train, by placing the camera on them. Mute print: one with only the picture, no soundtrack. NG, not good, shot: a shot which has gone wrong or is not useful, is indicated by the director with these words. Negative: the film on which pictures are shot. OK shot: when the director is completely satisfied with a shot he indicates it by using the word OK shot. Oscar: an affectionate name given to the Academy Award statuette, reputedly because when the figure was first struck in 1927 a secretary said, "It reminds me of my Uncle Oscar." Pan: a shot in which the camera rotates horizontally. Also used as a verb. Pilot: in television terminology, a film which is made as a trial, to see whether a series on the same premise will be ordered. Positive: a film on which negative and sound are mixed together and which is printed. This is ready for viewing. Processing: the developing, cleaning, drying etc. of the films through a chemical process. Producer: on the stage this term may be equivalent to director, i.e., the man who actually marshals the actors and whose conception of the show is supreme. In the film world it almost always indicates the man in control of the budget, whether an independent or working for a big studio. He controls all personnel including the director, and though the film may originally be his overall conception, he normally delegates his artistic responsibilities, remaining responsible chiefly for the film's ultimate commercial success or failure. Production manager: the person responsible for administrative details, departmental expenditure. Property: items and articles etc., which are provided to decorate the set and the artistes. These range from furniture to clothes, including ornaments etc. Raw shot: a raw film on which nothing has been shot or a negative which has not been cleaned via a chemical process. For the production of a film 3 types of films are needed. Reel: a loose term generally taken to mean 1000 feet of 35 mm film, i.e., the amount which would fit onto a reel of the old-fashioned king, running about 10 minutes. Thus short films were spoken of as 2-reelers, 3-reelers, etc., and charged accordingly. But modem 35 mm projector spools will take 2000 feet and sometimes 3000 feet, so the term is slowly falling into disuse. Especially as 16 mm projectors have always taken spools of either 400, 800 or 1600 feet. Rehearsal: before reaching the sets, the artistes practice the scenes. This is called a rehearsal. Rough cut: the first assembly of shots in the order in which they will be seen in the finished film, used to show those involved what work still needs to be done. Running shot: one in which the camera, mounted on wheels, keeps pace with its subject, a moving actor or vehicle. Rushes: a day's shooting on film when it comes back from the laboratories and is ready for viewing by those involved. Script: the writing of the story of the film, based on which the director directs the film. Set: a set is that place which is created in the studio where you can present and show a variety of things from small hutments to big mansions, lakes, mountains, jungles etc. Shooting script: this differs from a screenplay, which concentrated on dialogues, in that it includes camera directions and breaks up the script into shots. It is an instruction manual for technicians rather than a work of art. Shot: a shot is that length of the film which is assigned to a particular person or a particular scene. Slow motion: an effect obtained by running the camera faster than usual. When the film passes through the projector at normal speed, each movement appears slower, as occupies more frames of film, for scientific purposes, e.g., recording the growth of plants. Cameras are so arranged that a single frame of film is exposed at regular intervals, thus giving an impression of accelerated growth. Soap opera, a term used disparagingly of TV domestic drama serials, originated because such offerings were invariably sponsored by the big soap companies who needed to attract the housewife. Sound effects, the fusion of two sounds, one that is music and the other which is music of the other kind, in order to create effects like the roaring sounds of clouds, breezy winds, mysterious voices, the whistling of a train, etc. Sound mic, this apparatus is propped up by an iron stand and is hung over the heads of the artistes. There is a wire which links this apparatus to the recording room. The artist has to stand below this mic and deliver his dialogue, which is recorded in the recording room. This is also called the boom. Stock shot, one not made at the time of filming but hired from a library. It can be either newsreel, specially shot materials such as planes landing at an airport, views of a city, etc., or spectacular material lifted from older features, e.g., Storm over the Nile 55 had a large proportion of action footage from the original Four Feathers 39, and the same shots have turned up in several other films including Master of the World 61 and East of Sudan 64. Studio, this is the place where films are created. Subtitles, in silent days came after the scene in which the actors mouth the dialogue. When talkies came, the less cumbersome method was evolved of superimposing the dialogue at the foot of the screen, which considerably sharpened up the audience's reading speed. Take, the scene performed by the actor in front of the camera is called a take. Trolley shot, the camera is placed on a wheel trolley, which runs on iron tracks and moves from one place to another. This is operated by moving backwards. Send us your inquiry and views. Address, Kishore Namit Kapoor Acting Institute, Bungalow No. 108, Mata SVP Nagar, 4 Bungalows, and Harry West, Mumbai 400-053. Phone number, 022-26361626, mobile, 9820224455, or 9820036584. Email ID actinginstitute@yahoo.co.in or mail@knkinstitute.com. Website, www.knkactinginstitute.com.